It's time for our last best of 3 of the day. It's Tyloo going up against Big, a rematch of the best of 1 we saw on the opening day. But before we break this one down, I want you guys to get involved in a giveaway we're doing here. We've got a signed shirt being up for grabs. All you got to do is type !giveaway to find out how you can win in chat. And do make sure you drop a follow on the Twitch channel as well while you're at it. That's a pretty sexy Supernova shirt to wear.
Those look pretty nice. I wish I could have one.
I wish I looked like that wearing the shirt. Like, I wish my structure of my torso...
The V shape,
yeah.
I've got the upper half, but this half is still
That's
needs
a
work.
U.
Yeah, it's like it starts really strong here and then goes...
So disclaimer is if you win the shirt, you won't necessarily look like that in the shirt. But if you go to the gym, you could. Dude, don't give me one.
Please give him one. I want to see this now.
No.
Yes, Chad.
I'm not a model.
Can be.
Just a guy talking about a game.
Talking about models, though, and we're on to Tyloo. This runs in perfectly, because their little nickname for you is Cool Hair Guy.
Yeah, so... so last night, I was with Matt, and we were walking up the street, and we're looking for someone to go to grab a drink, and the Tyloo guys walked past, and I was like, oh, let's go have a drink with them. So we're like, yeah, cool. And so we went out, we're sitting around, and Crusade, who is the manager of the team, he speaks very good English. He lived in Italy for a while anyway.
He hates me after Star Ladder as well.
Regardless, we're sitting there talking, and they start. I'm sitting next to DD and Mo, and they start laughing, and then they tell us the story. Like in China with the pro players, you have a nickname, and I was like, oh, what is that? And they're like, Cool Hair Guy, and I was like, I guess that's a pretty good nickname, Cool Hair Guy.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
it could be worse, right?
Yeah, I was happy with that one. But then I put it on my Instagram, like the tweet that I made, and then Shocks, you know, the host.
Yeah.
She just messaged me, so they have a nickname for me too in China.
Oh God.
They call her the Big Host.
And
not because, So
I guess Big is in like she's
tall,
really good,
probably.
tall,
Tall,
because
I'd
she's
say.
quite slender and slim. So I very much doubt it's the other version.
Yeah. Well, I haven't replied to her yet. So she just messaged me that. And I read it. I was like, oh, well, that kind of chimed
You're
in
terrible
with
at
our
replying
segment.
to people anyway.
I'm so bad. Never message me.
No.
Don't message me ever.
It's better to just go to him face to face.
Yeah.
And
If you
be
can
like,
find
Chad,
me,
come on.
If you can find me, talk to me. But
Yeah,
otherwise,
that's the easiest way.
I hate the internet. I might get a flip phone.
Oh God, you're gonna go old school. The Motorola, like.
Yes, the Motorola.
Yeah. That was the classic.
No.
That was a classic.
Not a bad one.
I'm gonna just go over my thing because I said Crusader hates me, not in a bad way, just because I may have plied Captain Mo at the after party with so much alcohol that he nearly missed his flight. That was bad.
Oh, well, I guess that is the job of the manager
to look after him. Yeah, he saw me doing it and was like,
You know what I think is unique? Because speaking with them last night, the way the discourse goes, everything from them, from the Chinese, goes through him to get translated to English, right? Like, obviously, they know a little bit of English, and we can, like, joke about very easy things. But in terms of this flows into the communication point. So I asked a little bit more and asked about how it works with Bentet and Execura. And Execura is actually part Chinese, but he doesn't speak... He speaks only a little bit of Mandarin, right? So I would assume when they do their tactical pauses, it'd be Bentet, like if he needs to explain something like quite detailed, it'd have to go through Crusade, right? Like because he's going to have to then paraphrase it and put it out. And he has an understanding because he started playing Counter-Strike. He told me when. I forgot. Oh, when Sadicus started casting with Toby in the PGL stuff.
God.
Not PGL, but yeah, it is PGL. Yeah, back in the day. Anyway, we're going down a long trip down memory lane here.
We really
The point is, communication for Tyloo is difficult.
Yes, but the thing is, it's always been that way, right? Remember when it was Bondic and like Bentet was typing in Mandarin to the Chinese players, doing it all in English, and it seems even now with the Indonesian player, which you would think would somehow make it easier, it still seems completely diabolical. And it's amazing that they do win some of the games they win, all things considered.
But that's the thing, right? It's mind-blowing to me because playing as a French team, we've had communication issue. Like you're not saying the right thing. The way you say it is wrong. You're not putting the right tone to it. It's too fast. And now we are here talking about someone who has to translate live 3 languages to make it work. And still, you know, they play decent CS.
This might come into what we were talking about yesterday, though, right? Like Bentet obviously now being like focused on IGL and like kind of dropping off the scoreboard. Okay, we've got the other players starting to step up a little bit. We're seeing some good fragging power from him. But he was the man for the longest time, just literally rocking it.
Yeah, I think that because he's more of like an anchor slower player, like he comes in more mid to late rounds, that if he's not having a big impact on the T side, the CT side versus a higher caliber of opponents, which you may see come into fruition, like against the Hellraisers, the Bigs. These teams are top 8 majors, right? They should be playing afterplants very well. They're not going to give him the same opportunities to find kills in retakes or in those mid-round situations, whereas he might do against other players of lower tier. So maybe that's a factor as well. I think maybe to note, as they're on the screen, Mo, as we saw them playing in their opening game, the best of 1, he did have impact to get them across the line against Big. Because we can compare that matchup, right? But it was X here on the AWP. He was doing a lot of work, and somebody as well with impact, which he's carried along from the Toyota Masters. However, in that game, they won both pistol rounds. And they needed those swing rounds to go in their favor, right?
And it really was a lot of mistakes on Big's part as well, right? There were silly situations going on. Smooya was kind of non-existent in it as well. And then when we saw them come up against HR were just like, cool, let's go.
Yeah, I think that was a sloppy game. And as you say, the game after that versus HR really showed us like that overpass. There's not much to take from it. And I hope Tyloo doesn't do the mistake of rushing on overpass in that scenario again. You might think, we won once, that's okay. I think that would be a trap. I think Big would be prepared.
Especially Gob, where he'd be like, come to my den.
Yes,
let's do this again.
Exactly. It's like the spider, you're walking in a spider web, and it's like, that's it, you're done. So definitely Big is going to be ready for overpass. I think they are pretty conscious about the mistakes they did, and knowing their work ethic and the way they prepare the games, they surely have an answers to that. So, yeah. Overpass would be a trap. Now,
we speak a lot about Tyloo's map pool, right? We spoke about how they are starting to add more maps to it. They're starting to look a little bit better. But can they really compete with Big on this in a best of 3?
It's quite clear what they have to pick, right? To their Infernal or Cage. Mirage is getting banned.
Yeah, exactly.
Mirage straight out.
And they're going to have to ban, I would assume, Nuke, which gives the choice to Big to either pick Overpass or Train. Right?
And Dust 2 would be a possibility.
Yeah, which is a map that they consider themselves very strong on.
And considering Tyloo's showing against Hellraisers, who was poor to say the least, they got destroyed 16-5 on their own map.
So, yeah, I think the only reason, and I think this is just me saying it from the old Dust 2, I think the new Dust 2, I said it yesterday in one of the best of ones, that I felt that it was more structured now than, or played in a more structured way than the old Dust 2. I think the old Dust 2 felt a lot more free-flowing. I felt like long rushes were also easier in the old Dust 2 for the Ts. Because now, I feel like the CTs are getting there before the Ts.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're getting there, they're dropping there. So unless you do that Hail Mary all in, literally use all of your flashbangs and the corner smoke to get that player into pit, which is still a chance that he might get picked off, I feel like the spawn-based version now of Dust 2 is not as prevalent as it was in previous iterations.
And that brings me nice on, like, what you're saying there about the whole long push, right, is you get that one player who can get there faster, but if not, you watch the CTs throw 2, maybe 3 players to actually commit to it and try to take that control early on. Now, looking at Big, though, right, this to them, this is like not just a must-win, but this is the revenge mode for them. They looked better today against Gambit, but you can only take so much from that given Gambit's circumstances. It started to get a little bit scary on Dust 2, but overall, now this is where Big is supposed to be playing at their ultimate standard, right? It's where they can do the extra prep, it's where they can get themselves ready, and it's where they like to play multiple maps. They can kind of free float a bit more.
No, I think you're right. This is, and even in general, this tournament is supposed to be somewhere that Big is going to shine. Right, Liquid and RJ here for sure, but we're talking playoff. Big has to make playoff because they've been lurking in the shadows, and here and there they would pop up at some events, for example Cologne, and you would say, whoa, they really can play. They have a very strict preparation. They play a very optimized Counter-Strike, and then they would fall, and they don't really have that consistency in the way that they always beat very good teams. So in that sense, if they want to make it through that top 10 bubble, these tournaments, they need to make a stand. They need to make it to the playoff.
Yeah, we do definitely talk about the point that they're fantastic with preparation, but once you're in the realms of a tournament like this where it's a little bit more sporadic, the opponents that you're versing may jump up and down, that's when you have to question, are they a team who can only play when they have a lot of preparation, or do they have the pieces of the puzzle to click and come together? We know Tabsing can frag at a high standard. We've seen Nex do it today. He had a beast of a performance.
Has to happen again.
That has to be a consistent factor, and then obviously Smooya, right? Those 3, that's the star trio of this team. They're the ones who need to consistently be there. We know Tizian and Gob, they have their more supplementary roles in this squad. But if they want to be a contender on a regular basis, I think they would definitely agree with that sentiment that I've just put out there, that they need their players to be more consistent on a brawly style of things. Or are they just going to always be a team who, hey, give us 1 month in a hyperbolic time chamber to prep a whole bunch of gimmicky strats, come out, and then, you know, have a really good miracle run? I think they've legitimized themselves more off the back of the Cologne result and then the major top 8 position. And here I agree with Maniac. If they're unable to make it to playoffs again at a tournament where they're considered in the top 4, that's where they probably start looking at themselves and question it. That's why a tournament like this is super weird, right?
Yeah.
Because we have teams who are, you know, for them, it's like another tournament, but because of the stakes of the teams lower than them, if they don't get through, then it is a drastic thing for them to look at and go, oh, do we need to make a change? Because that stings. Whereas the lower teams, if they had an upset game, it's like, oh, sick, you know, it's great. We just performed better than everyone expected. So there's teams here who can perform above expectations, and there's teams who need to perform to expectations, and Big is one of those teams.
Yeah, and looking at these head-to-head results, right? The ones back in April we can completely ignore. Then we can go to the Face It Major one. That's where Big took control. Then we come to Starladder. They managed to do it again on a different map. Then it was the one we just saw recently, which again we've already covered here. And it's kind of a thing where now it's just Big. You need to go back to the proving ground of it. And I think like we saw from Next today, it was so much more what we expected. It was like old Next is back, and that has to come into play now as we get the video to begin on our screens. We believe it's going to be what Mirage straight away for Big, Nuke straight out for Tyloo.
Should be,
and then it will play it out.
Well, as we said, the video are pretty straightforward. There should be a big removing Mirage here, unless something's happening that I don't know of. There you go. And then when it comes to pick, we said Tyloo probably Cash or Inferno.
Yeah.
Would make sense. On the big side of things, just to overpass, I would say makes sense. And then again, you know, you never know what they prepared. This is, the Inferno pick. Yeah, makes sense.
The thing with the Inferno choice is, well, the thing with Inferno and Cache is it's easier on the T side with poor communication on Cache. It's easier on the CT side with poor communication on Inferno. So each of them have like if you're on the T side of Inferno, you need a bit more communication late rounds. It gets a lot more chaotic.
Yeah.
Whereas Cache, you can do the spread pick and you can capitalize a bit more open ground. But on the CT side of Cache, you need a lot more communication with the rotation. So, you know, there's pros and cons for them on both of that. I think the Dust 2 is a punish, is what we alluded to based off their poor performance. But it's also a risk, because I think that's a map where all it's going to take is Execute to have one of those games in the AWP, and Big could find themselves in a world of hurt. So it's not as safe of a pick as, say, what Overpass in my mind probably would have been, because I think that Big are the better Overpass team, but they've shown the early stages that they're willing to adopt Dust 2, and it's one of their maps they want to have towards the top of their pool.
Do you think that they could have seen this Overpass as a third map come in and thinking we're going to go for Dust 2 because there's high chances Overpass come as third? So in that sense, they have both Dust 2 and Overpass in the map pool.
Yeah. I think that like this has opened the door for Tyloo to get a 2-0, but if it goes to 3, then Big win.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Because here we go. Look down the kind of results of it here, and this is a storied thing for Tyloo, right?
It's their map pick.
Their map pick, and all the teams they've played, right? The only real legit one in there is Heroic, and I guess you could say Cyberzen from their own region. But the rest of them are teams that really they should be beating quite consistently. And then you look at Big, taking down Na'Vi not once but twice. Okay,
that list is actually impressive.
Took down G2 and Mousespots. That is goddamn legit.
That is a legitimate list of opponents that you've taken down.
If you're Tyloo right now, and you'd seen this graphic, you might go, may have made an error here.
I can imagine Tyloo being like, Coach, did you know about these results?
Did you check HLTV?
Did we have this information before? Yeah, we knew. Okay, let's say we knew. All right, let's go Inferno. No, that's a very legitimate list of opponents for Big. And, you know, Big, they know how to play Inferno. I think they have somewhat like re-upgraded the meta for a little bit. They had these tactics, you know, the smokes from second minute to short. They would do the wall of smoke. So definitely they know how to play Inferno. I mean, that was a choice.
Do you still think this could be a 2-1?
Yeah, I still think that Tyloo have a chance on this first map. So you have to remember that some of these results that we're seeing on the screen, especially on the Big side of things, are online.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, you know, that's still not massive wins compared to Tyloo losing on land to Pro 100, Heroic, and Alpha Red. Like, that's dismal. That should not happen. But I think that in the context of a game, if it gets scrappy, if they can force Big to play, you know, not a brand of CS that they want to. Like, they want to force them into the low buys. They want them to make all these mistakes and try and challenge them on the low buys, because that's where Tyloo, that's where like somebody pushes through a smoke and gets 3 kills with the UMP, right? When you don't have your Molotov to stop him pushing, like, you know, all those little bits and pieces is what Tyloo want to force you to play so they can take advantage of you. And Excura is actually a really good AWPer on this map on the T side. One of probably 5 AWPers who I consider good on Inferno T side AWP.
Inferno, when I think of it, I just think of like, okay, there's only a few people that were actually any good at AWPing on T side. You even see Cirque on a regular basis will just opt to pick up an AK just for that reason, because some situations it just doesn't work for. We saw it literally just earlier today.
Oh no, absolutely. Excura, very proficient on the map. I was just thinking, maybe I'm too much of an Astralis type of CS fan, right? But when Chad is saying, and he's making a great point, that Tyloo basically have to disrespect Counter-Strike to win. That's how it is. They cannot engage into a tactical battle with Big. They're probably going to lose. They have to play risky. They have to go through the smokes. They have to go for risky plays. And to me, that's not a good condition to start the best of 3.
But
if you know what I mean.
That is one thing, right, that at least Tyloo do best, because we spoke about this as well. Tyloo and just a lot of the Chinese players, it doesn't matter if you're Astralis, Na'Vi, Big, they just have reams of confidence. Like, they no fear on a regular basis and just push out, and they're like, we believe in ourselves, we're going to dome you.
Yeah, I think a lot of it as well, they do make a lot of risky plays, but we also don't get to catch it as much. They do make plays that are more calculated. A teammate would have flashed for them, or they've conditioned earlier. But because they don't play the same cookie-cutter style as a lot of... Oh, actually, I don't feel that many teams play cookie-cutter style. They don't try and play the same style. Like, they play that...
that's fair.
They want to thrive in the scrappiness. Whereas Big, I think Big play more modern CS, but Big also are quite different in their approach. They use utility different to everybody else. They're not like looking at Astralis and Liquid and going, okay, well, this is what they throw, this is how they do it. They've kind of got their own take on it, which is also really cool. It's just harder to counter-strat tendencies of a team like Tyloo. The only one that you can count on doing the same play time and time again would be somebody. You know that you want to be hyper aware around a lot of the smokes, right? That's where you want to really keep your attention quite high. But if I remember back to the major when Tyloo were winning games in the best of 1 in the Swiss, Inferno was one of the maps they were doing it on, but they were always close games. So if they're going to win this, I would expect it to be in a close affair. Like if you know, we see Big in control, I don't see Tyloo coming back into it. If it's a back and forth game, maybe Tyloo have a lead. It's still going to be close, but that's the only way in a close affair. This won't be one where they roll over Big by any means.
You were talking about the coach and obviously his points on like translating it for Tyloo and stuff like that. How much is his input, do you know, on like kind of the tactical side of things? Does he have that extra added depth to it at all, Chad?
Well, he's listed as the manager on Wikipedia, right?
Okay,
he's not listed as the coach, but he's played Counter-Strike before. I don't know what he could offer. I think it must be very difficult for these guys to set a game plan. Because what would normally take a team who are all speaking the same language relatively fluently, maybe 15 minutes, probably takes these guys half an hour, right?
Yeah,
because you have to go through things in finer details. They're obviously working on ways. This is why I think the limit for Tyloo is always going to be a lot lower than what their skill shows, is the communication factor. I don't think they'll ever be a consistent top 10 team in the world. I think that's, unless like some teams just drop off the face of the earth, I don't think it's possible purely because of the communication factor. I mean, people think so they must like listen to that and go, well, that's ridiculous. But communication is like, if you were to do a pie chart of Counter-Strike, once you're at the top level, communication is one that would take up, you know, at least 25%, maybe more, right? That's how important it is at this level of CS. And for them, it's an issue that is hard to rectify unless you sit down and you teach everybody the same language.
That's where Big's like the polar opposite, right? Because you don't just have the coach, you've got obviously Legias behind him as well. God masterminding it all together. There's one player who's on the screen at the moment though, is Tizian, right? And he's come into this lineup. He plays that support role. He's focused on doing what he's supposed to do. But there are times where he has these like shining light moments where actually I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does for the team.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, when Tizian was in alternate attacks, obviously he was playing at a little like lower level of Counter-Strike, but he was a star player. He was the guy who would go 35 kills, 30 kills in officials. So yes, obviously he has a different role here in Big, but because he's been a star player, because he's played these roles, he knows, or at least he can do it sometimes, right? Obviously the positions he plays do not really allow him to go 30 plus every game.
To add a bit of context to that for people who might not understand, in CT positions where, let's say you're an anchor of a bomb site, you're not in transition. So when you rock up to a bomb site on a retake, everything bad has already happened. And now you're based off the information that you had 10 to 15 seconds ago of where players are in the post plant. That is some of the hardest frags to get in the game because you have so many angles to check. Your awareness is, like, it's just insane. When you think about players who are good, these are the ones who are the robots who whatever make the miracles happen time and time again. Think about Zipnix when he plays the B anchor on a map like Mirage. When he retakes A, he has these ways of either forcing you to pick or it's a mind game of this, that, and the other. Not every player can have that. I used to hate playing B anchor on a map like Mirage because when I rotated over to A and my teammates who I consider better than me were already dead, now I have the tough task. Let me be the A anchor where all the action's going down. Let me get one and done and give you the info or hold ticket and let you guys come around so we can retake. Don't put it, like this is the thing that people really struggle to realize. So let's say that Tizian in a half, Manly have 10 kills. he might have to get 10 of those kills in transition. They may steer clear of his bomb site.
They never come towards him. We see that so many times.
Exactly. And I'm not like letting anybody off the hook here. I'm just giving the fact that this is an example, right? People need to look at this. So you will tend to have your more, I guess, frag heavy players on a map. If we're going to use Inferno as an example, like your swing player, your rotator from B is normally the one who's just coming between bomb sites throwing flashes. So he's not an anchor in that regard. He's the one actually doing supportive stuff. So that's another thing to consider. There's so many different, you could point it out for days, positions on maps and when you're in transition and you're helping other players,
but
right?
this needs to be broken down because there's so many people that are clueless when it comes to it in terms of they're like, oh, this player's so bad, man, like kick him, get rid of him, like, and it's like, well, actually he's playing his role, he's playing it well, and his job is ridiculously hard.
I was just sitting here thinking I wish someone like Chad was at the desk when I was playing and realizing that was a thing, because back then B players, you know, if we would end up with -5, people would just assume, well, you're bad at Counter-Strike. Yeah. That's how it is. No, but Chad is absolutely right. There's more to the scoreboard and kills that you make. One kill does not equal another kill. The context means something, if it's an eco or not, if you're saving a weapon or not. And Xipix is probably a good example of someone who does it best, you know, the retakes and everything. That's extremely hard.
Well, Big get the knife, they get the side. It's an obvious choice for a map like Inferno, so that'll give them the start they wanted. We'll see all smiles out of them regardless of that, as we got a little bit of time to play with before we go into our prediction moments, guys. So let's think, where is it going and why from you guys?
I mean, logic has to favor Big. I can't really, no, but that's the thing, right? I'm trying to see, and I'm trying to think win conditions for Tyloo, and how can I justify it? And it's just too much going, you know. I can't give them any like tactical edge, not of a Big, even if it's their map pick. Going up against Big on Inferno, I will not give them that edge. And individually speaking, yes, maybe. Okay, that I could say. Yes. Maybe I could say, individually speaking, if you take pounds for pounds
one to one,
exactly, one to one, there's a case to be made that there's maybe more mechanical skill on Tyloo. So I'm going to say this. If Tyloo wants to have a chance, they have to fire up on all cylinders, individually speaking, right? Because I don't think they're going to outplay Big. I don't think they're going to outmaneuver them in the rounds. But yeah, sure, if Xcure can go crazy with the op, have a lot of impact, if somebody can cross smokes, have triple flags, yes, I can see that happen.
Okay, so I'm definitely in my eyes, I see this as just being a big 2-0.
Yeah.
Just from what we've seen from what we're looking at stats Inferno-wise, I'm going with 2-0. Maniac?
I have to go for Big 2-0 as well.
Chad?
Yeah, look, there's definitely a slight sliver of hope. This could be a 3-mapper.
Yeah.
It's going to be entertaining, but I think Big's going to win. All
right, cool. Well, let's get into it. Let's see how it goes down. It's Big versus Tyloo. It's the rematch. It's a best of 3, and we get to start on Inferno. And it's going to be back over with Hawker and Dinko. So take it away, boys.
Yeah, thank you, Vice. We're back into it, Alex. This is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, the rematch, we've seen them play against each other already in this tournament, and Tyloo were the victors of that one. Just about, though.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of those weird situations where, sure, Tyloo won the last time these two teams played in this very tournament, and yet still, I really think Big are pretty big favorites for this whole series. The fact that we've seen the maps that have come through even overpasses the decider I'd favor to Big. So it's quite difficult to see a way Tyloo win this, as was kind of pointed out on the desk.
Yeah, the only thing for Tyloo is that they have got that sort of thing in the back pocket where they can just win off the back of chaotic situations. They have so many fraggers on that team, so many players with so much skill. We've seen yesterday when Tyloo were playing somebody hitting some insane shots, winning a lot of choke points and opening kills for Tyloo. So there is players there for Tyloo that can pick up those sort of disrespectful frags.
Yeah, I think that's the really important factor in this game. If you watch these first 5 or 10 or so rounds and start to see these chaotic situations, that's when you know Tyloo have got a real chance. But if it's just kind of a more standard, structured style of Counter-Strike, Big are very likely to take this one over the line. So it all depends on how the game itself plays out. Obviously, the maps are quite important for that. And generally, when I see Inferno played, oftentimes there is quite a lot of structure to this map. You oftentimes see the same situations playing out, the same battle for banana control. And so I feel like even with this being Tyloo's map pick, you look at some of those recent results from Bangkok, where they played it 3 times at that LAN. They didn't win it a single time against teams they probably should be able to beat. It's a scary sign for Tyloo, and I hope they've got some improvements to this map.
Yeah, and speaking of those recent results, we've seen teams that Big were able to take down Navi, Mars Sports, you know, big names within the CS scene. So definitely results do favor Big, but results do not mean everything. And we're into the pistol. It's immediately damage being done all to Tyloo. Gob opens things up with first blood as he finds the headshot on the X-Crit. Tizian looking to try and extend upon that with a little bit of a battle ensuing inside of those apartments.
Yeah, again, Tizian, someone mentioned on the desk. I've watched a POV of Tizian and the positions he plays, and it's absolutely right that he takes off a lot of the supportive element for the team. Oftentimes, he'll be playing positions where he's not meant to get frags. So you can look at the scoreboard, you can think, well, hey, what's Tizian doing? And there are factors outside of the frags that you have to consider. The bomb has been left all the way back towards bottom of mid, and with Big getting aggressive down Banana, the bomb could be dropped, but Boomtech gets that all-important frag. Trade starting to come through, and Tyloo going to group up towards B.
Smooya has this advanced position. They're going to walk on by. Smooya able to pick up one. Could got a second, but Captain Mo will be able to reply with a trade frag on his own. Nex is here in play. He's got himself an easy kill, looking for the follow-up. He'll shut them down as a run towards the B bomb site. An easy cleanup for Big as they take the pistol.
And there we go, Nex warming up early. What is God doing?
Shaking the arms, man. Get him warmed up. There we go.
Tabson getting in on the action. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Again, though, the storyline whenever we talk about Big is always, if Nex shows up, this team can be world beaters. They've got it all, because then you've got Tabson as the superstar player. Smooya can sometimes be a little bit quiet as well, so it's really Smooya and Nex's performance you need to look for. And interestingly, into round 2, Smooya clearly wants to get that or ASAP. He's brought almost nothing into this round, sticking with the USP. Look at GodB go, running all the way down Banana.
GodB obviously wanting to see if he can find the opening early, but he will get in Banana control for Smooya to post up with the USP. And obviously with the economy changes, we can see that Smooya can just afford to go with that USP up against the unarmored opponents of Tyloo. And so that USP essentially is back into the pistol, but the difference is he has head armor this time, so he can rattle the shots off. He does a little bit of damage as Bintech crosses over towards the underpass. Smooya just tapping away. They know the pistol's here. They're going to try and challenge him with the Glocks, and he's not winning these fights. Smooya actually loses the engagement to the P250 of DD, but they're about to walk into the cash grinder that is GodB with that MP9. And he'll actually fall back. But Tyloo, in all things considered, Alex, I mean, they find a kill and they've got some Banana control.
Yeah, I would like to see Smooya be a bit more disciplined in that position. And that is something that I thought would come through when he comes onto Big. There's this discussion of GodB kind of reining Smooya in, because he's always been this sort of flamboyant, you know, very, very overconfident player at times, especially back on that Epsilon lineup. He was always the guy that kind of had to force the entries, so he had that star mindset, which can be a real problem if you constantly force the fight. And oh no, GodB doesn't clear the corner, but he gets the reaction. Bomb has been dropped, and Captain Mo will look to move in towards A, but with 9 seconds, he is eliminated. Big secure the 2-0 score, as you would expect.
Yeah, Tyloo finding 2 kills there. That's enough, right? They should be happy with that, especially since they invested only a couple of P250s into it. So finding those kills, they'll be happy with it. And I think it's more important when they come into this that they pick up the first gun round. Big obviously want to make a statement here. They lost to Tyloo yesterday in their opening matchup and would have loved to have won that game. So Big are an emotional team. I mean, they've got a lot of emotional players within that, so they're going to have to deal with that entity. And this gun round will be a telling fact of whether or not we're going to see the Big side get the good start.
Somebody is an incredibly aggressive rifler. We're about to see that come through. Next, holding the angle. Somebody just takes the aim fight. Again, this is what Tyloo can do. They've got the individuals to make plays like that. Captain Mo does a lot of damage of his own. Tizian chunked down to 13 HP. And a really nice start to this gun round for Tyloo. And they're going to go through the smoke.
Tabson here, shot on the AWP onto DD. And it's into a 4 versus 4. Tizian doing damage with the AUG and actually throws the Molotov on in, so that's going to prevent somebody from looking in towards the A bomb site. So Big currently with the control of this round, but Tyloo can just sit outside that bomb site. They do not have to commit just yet, so here goes the smoke. It's going to bounce right off Captain Mo. Grenade comes in. That's going to eliminate the low HP. Somebody, but GodB running right through the smoke with the MP9, able to collect the frags. And as Tabson sits back inside of the pit with the AWP, he's looking to collect these last 2.
Oh, I wonder if Xskirt was spotted there. He just pushed through the apartments. Tizian taken down. What's just happened? 2 kills for Tyloo. A flurry of frags found towards the site. Could Smooya do this, though? Both players low, but he's got the AWP. As he moves into position, Xcurate has an AWP of his own in towards Pit. How does he get both of these kills? There's the first. Xcurate doesn't peek. Smooya aware of this position, holding the angle. Who is going to peek first? It's Xcurate to take the fight, and he gets it at just the right time. Smooya was repositioning, and Xcurate secures the clutch for his team. And Sponge said on the desk, Xcurate is one of those AWPers that can work on the T side of Inferno, and he's already proving it.
Smooya had the right read. That's why it's so sad to see. You know, he walks in with that AWP, finds that close shot, knows exactly where Xcurate could be, has the read, just doesn't get the timing, and Xcurate is able to pick up the kill. And he definitely is an AWPer that can really make it work on this T side. I remember seeing some insane shots from him on this map, in particular towards that A bomb site. So look out for that. Obviously an entertaining AWP player to watch.
Gotta love this style from Tyloo. Again, up in their opponents' faces. Big have no room to breathe. DD gonna clear the pit. Somebody just barreling through this smoke as well. The counter nades are in there for Big, but still the kills come through. A 1-for-1 trade as somebody goes for a mad spray.
Yeah, somebody just trying to rattle shots through the smoke, see what he can pick up, but nothing coming his way currently. And Big still with control of the bomb side, but the problem is Tyloo are all over the place. DD misses the jump, and that could have actually worked out for him if he's able to sprint towards the graveyard. He would have spotted a player inside of that bomb site. But failing that jump, he does not care as he stays alive inside of the pit, finds a headshot on the Smooya. Tizian from the default spot in behind the boxes, doing enough work. His teammate falls, that's next gone. But Tizian doing a good job holding the pit as he gets himself another kill. It's all on the DD. 7 HP. Somehow Tizian has made this work for Big. He's got himself the triple kill, and DD into the 1 versus 2.
Oh, Godby comes in from short. I will say, even with Big winning this round, I almost feel like there are some positive signs for Tyloo here. Just the fact that the game is so frantic, the fact the game is so chaotic, that is oftentimes where Tyloo find most of their success. But obviously, Tizian just continuing to peek in and out of this corner. That is how you can play that position, a very strong position to hold. And obviously, the big guys loving those orgs. Godby kind of introduced this towards them, and you can see Godby's got that silenced M4 equipped. The rest of his teammates buy up the org. Even though the silenced M4 doesn't see too much play, it is the cool idea that Godby has had. You know, it's been all over Reddit, the fact that he buys the org when he needs the normal rifle, and then if he wants to use the silenced M4 for whatever reason, he can have the option to do so. And those orgs looking to hold at long range. Tabson scoped in.
And just sit back at this long-range angle next with the first kill. Tabson will peek out, and they're just getting wrecked by these Augs, just shutting them all down towards this position. Next will finish off the job with the clean USB headshot. And Tyloo, only 1 round on the board, obviously losing that one again. They'll have somebody left over in the bank. They could maybe go for a bit of a half-buy here, Alex, but the goal into the next will be to get that gun through. So, odds definitely favoring Big here.
I assume that's for the overall series.
No, I generally match winner, yeah.
Well, this map was picked by Tyloo. Like, I know they've had some poor results in it recently, but you wouldn't expect the odds to be that crazy. I mean, either way, it is going to be Big with the early lead, so that could be a big part of it. And also the fact that Tyloo don't have a great buy into this round. Smooya gets the opening kill with the AWP. Oh, wow, Buntet rips his face off. And now Godby with this silenced M4 flashes himself, but he still gets away.
That's a bit awkward. Godby will pick up the AWP on his retreat, though, and knows the bomb was towards that position. Falls back inside of the coffins. Peeks out, finds the frag. Godby is doing work with the AWP. He's able to follow up, and the bomb is dropped. It's DD on his own, Deagle in hand. He's running back up towards the top of Banana. And Big, you know, they would have loved to have picked this one up, and they've done it. Unless DD pulls off any most heroic plays I've seen, but next with the AUG, will confirm victory for Big into that one. Next one's going to be interesting, though, Alex. The guns will be out for Tyloo.
Yeah, they have been kind of forced into a position where they're already fairly far behind at the start of this game. Big have been able to establish themselves as the favorites almost at this early portion of this matchup. Again, the fact that Nex is showing up That's always the important factor for Big. He is currently towards the top. In fact, he's at the top of the scoreboard. And then you've even got Gob B as the second top fragger for this team. So even though it's only early stages, still a good sign for the Big side of things. And Smooya sticking around. This is a risk. He could easily be spammed, but he's able to fall back to safety thanks to the smoke. Ooh, Smooya, this is dangerous. He's trying to get these shots, and he does connect. Captain Mo chunked down to 36 points of health, and a little bit of damage done at the start of the round.
Headshot from DD. That's a great opening. Tizian falling.
It's a wall bang.
Yeah, right through the wall. Tizian's gone. Easy pickup. So, Big. You have to try and find that trade back. You have Tizian posted up with the AWP, or Tabson posted up with the AWP inside of the apartments. They have loved to go for that double up setup lately between Smooya and Tabson, obviously the big hitters for this team. And Tabson holding the minute angle towards the short position. So if Tyloo are to walk over here, Tabson may be under a lot of pressure. Luckily he has the help of Next on towards the lower parts of the apartments, but needs to be careful towards the upper balcony as there's a player waiting there. Tabson needs to fall back to a more passive angle to play this AWP from.
Gob B has just rotated over with the Org, and he may be here in the nick of time. 29 seconds left, and Tabson forced to move. Oh no, he's out in the open. Captain Mo able to find an entry. Next is overwhelmed, and again, Tyloo are able to swarm the A site. Tyloo there just pushing from every possible angle. Big were not ready for that, and again, look at DD. The aggression just keeps on coming.
He just wants to take those weapons away from Big. Yeah, I've got a little bit of money left over, so saving these would be great for this team because obviously it pads out that buy a little bit. They'll be able to get extra money, extra utility through. Tabson, you know, has been investing in that awful lot, so his money is a little bit down and out. So they kind of need to save these rifles in this AWP over. I do like seeing the double up setup between Tabson and Smooya though. These two players incredibly gifted with those weapons. Obviously, Big's number 1 and 2 fraggers, so.
Whoa. Did that flower like just grow in front of us?
Yeah.
So beautiful. So romantic. Look at this.
There's the I love these apartments now, right? Because you have so many different wall bangs you could do because they're so paper thin, right? You can wall bang anything, you spam anything, and I feel like it's kind of underutilized a bit. I feel like you could use those wall bangs much more.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously dangerous to be in towards those apartments. Again, I always say those walls are almost paper thin. I could probably punch through those walls, Dinko. I'm not a strong guy, but I reckon I could do it with how often you see those wallbang headshots come through. And we've got a technical pause coming into play. I think this one was called by Big. So we'll see what the problem is.
I think I've seen Smooya taking his headphones off, check his headset, so might be something to do with that. But I'm kind of liking the start from Big. I mean, Tyloo, obviously, they're playing that game plan we expected him to bring, right? That hyper-aggressive, disrespectful style of play where they just try and overwhelm choke points with their sheer aim abilities. And so doing that, they need to keep that up. They need to start finding the engagements and winning the initial duels. And if it falls into a more tactical style of play, like you said, Big will have the massive advantage in terms of that game style.
It's also a positive sign for Big that they are generally rotating towards the right site at the right time. Because I remember in that first matchup between these two teams, on their CT side of Overpass, there were quite a few rounds where it seemed like Big weren't fully aware what Tyloo were doing. On some occasions, they seemed to rotate towards the wrong bomb site. They made a couple of misreads, and that was really costly for them in what was a very close game at the start of this tournament, where Tyloo won 16-14 against Big on Overpass. So it's good to see that Gob B seems to have got Tyloo somewhat figured out, and maybe that's in part due to the preparation, right? This is an elimination match. I'm sure Gob B has had the time to prepare for Tyloo. He would have known it's likely either Inferno or Cash that would have been picked by Tyloo, so he could have looked at both of those maps if he wanted to, and that's always something you've got to mention with Big. Not only do they have Gob B helping with the prep, they have their coach Kakafu, and I think they also have Lagia still helping out to some extent.
Looks as though Smooya has got everything sorted. Headset back on. So it should be resuming play very, very shortly. And at this point, I'm looking forward to get into the action because Big love scoped weapons, Alex. They seem to love leaning towards the AUGs, the AWPs. They've had a lot of them in play lately. And so I feel like the AUG is good in that position because it can sort of, you've got mid-range abilities, long-range abilities, and even without the scope, you've got those close-range abilities. And obviously with the price being reduced to just a little bit more expensive than the M4A4, you've definitely got use of that weapon.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see something new come through. It's also really cool to see how much Big have adopted those AUGs, because I think some people assumed that these scoped rifles couldn't be picked up by everyone because maybe they're a bit awkward to use at close range, but we've seen some players almost never use the scope. You don't really need to. As long as you get the spray on lockdown, you can be fine with just the AUG without the scope. And speaking of scopes, everyone on Big has got a scope for this round, Dinko. Going to be a lot of fun. 2 AWPs and 3 AUGs in play.
Oh, look at this bombardment of utility towards the top of Banana, forcing Godby away. Grenade comes in from Smooya. Doesn't do that much damage. And so Tyloo not going to really be scared away from Banana just yet. They want to challenge just, and Smooya wants to get some of the action. He's going to peek into Banana, finds the kill to Captain Mo, but has to back into the Molotov. Has to expend a smoke to get safely back towards B.
Good thing he had that fire extinguisher in his back pocket, otherwise known as the smoke. Keeps himself alive on 26 health points. Tyloo have traded the one man, Captain Mo, for control of Banana. Not too bad of a trade, but they would have rather had everyone survive to take that control. And with Smooya being low on health, he decides to try and help his team in a different way. He decides to boost Godby up to a different position. I think the idea here is that Smooya takes the first point of contact with the AWP, and then Godby is going to be able to trade if any further fights come through. And with 42 seconds left, Tyloo not overcomplicating things. They're going to stick together as a pack and try and overrun this B bomb site.
Yeah, smoke going over for CT. Tyloo at the ready to execute into the B bomb site. Very standard one. You know, they've got plenty of utility to do it. Flashbangs are there, smokes are still there. So this is going to be really interesting to see if the setup can work. Smooya on the coffins, he's going to be the man taking the first kills. He backs away inside of the smoke safely. Goes back for a little bit of a spam, but Godby not getting anything done from that position. So falls on to Smooya to make the play, sitting inside of the smoke. He can't go for this play though. He's got to wait for his teammates to come in for the retake. Oh! Smooya with a fast flick. Somebody dropped and it's into a 2-man advantage for Big.
God, somebody loves pushing through smokes. He sees a smoke, he has to push, but Smooya's still going. He wants the ace. Oh, he takes out his knife. That's not the best play, but it's all good. Tizian's got his back, and Smooya, after taking the opening fight, survived on just 23 HP, but that shows how powerful that AWP can be, even when you're low on health. If you continue to rattle off the shots, you can absolutely have impact.
Yeah, Smooya, you know, he's seen him edging towards Banana at the beginning. He takes that opening kill, falls back, nearly dies to the Molotov, right? And so gets back safely to the bomb site, boosts his teammate up towards the back of the bomb site. He stands on the coffins, and he makes it work massively. Love to see that flick again. This is so incredible. Somebody loves pushing smokes, and Smooya loves collecting kills like that because that is incredible. Big will take 6. And here comes the buy from Tyloo. Execute onto the AWP. Let's see what he can get done with that.
Ooh. tabseN hasn't been too involved in the action so far in this game, and oh, the gun barrel is spotted. Excret knows he's there, but he misses the shot. tabseN lucky to get away with his life there. He's able to get back to safety, playing a dangerous game as he pushed down mid.
Tet, looking to see what he can get done towards the top of Banana. Has a lot of information that is relatively clear, and soon with a few last checks we'll realize it's completely clear. But the problem is there's 3 players on the opposite end of that wall, so probably best he does not peek into it. This time Godby going for the M4A1S.
I will also say that over on the big side of things, the one player that's maybe been a bit missing this tournament probably has been Smooya. tabseN's been their best player by far with a good performance overall. Nex has showed up today. Smooya's been a little bit quiet. We haven't seen as much from him. So to see the 4K over towards B is, again, definitely a good sign for Big if they can have everyone show up. And look at this from Tyloo, a very similar play to the previous round. A late round B execute. Last time Smooya shut them down, and Smooya is in position to try and stop them from the exact same spot.
New smoke comes in, that's going to delay further, but we know Tyloo, they don't care if it's a smoke, they run right through it. And Smooya will drop the first player, that's the bomb gone as well, but he does not know they slipped through. They're coming in from behind him, so he needs to be careful in this position. Has teammates, 10 seconds, they need to make this work as somebody sprays on through. Bentek grabs a kill, tabseN comes in with a frag himself, but the bomb plant is coming in and Tyloo will get it in the nick of time. It's into a 2 versus 3 and tabseN's done enough. He looks for a little bit more here, the flashbang in, so he hits the shot, but not the kill. And somebody, he's got to find himself a kill towards Tizian. Extra close angle, tabseN finds the frag into the 1 versus 1, and tabseN will pull through for big.
You could see tabseN almost have a release of stress there. He had to get 4 kills on the retake, just continually taking fights. Again, chaotic rounds. This is what Tyloo do to you. They make it really frantic. We have to look at some of these replays of the kills from tabseN. Look at this one, through the smoke, really aggressive. Spotted this player up close here. Again, scoping in. I mean, the thing is, like, tabseN could probably be a primary AWPer. He uses it so often. And obviously, Smooya is also going to be AWPing on the team, but you can see tabseN's feeling it. He's sticking with the one AWP that Big have.
Yeah, Smooya's a very emotional player and will sort of thrive off confident situations. And already finding that core kill earlier will be a good step forward for him on in sort of the confidence mindset. So hopefully we see more Smooya stepping up. He's hit some 6 shots so far in this game, but tabseN definitely firing on all cylinders. You kind of highlighted, kind of hasn't been in the driving seat in this one so far, but definitely stepping up here. Flashbang going up towards Archway. Tyloo have got the pistols in play. How often do we see somebody inside of smoke, Alex? It seems to be all the time, but running towards tabseN. Another missed shot, a little unorthodox. And they're spamming through, but it doesn't matter. Golby has him covered. They collect 2 frags. tabseN will peek out and Tizian, and next they shut down the last 2 with the AUGs, and Big will take another round of the board.
Man, how many close rounds have Tyloo lost? Again, quite a few of the crucial gun rounds have come down to positions where Tyloo survived with maybe, or sorry, Big survive with maybe 1 or 2 or 3 players, and it looks like Tyloo are making it close, but they just can't get these rounds over the line. And again, Big continuing to just grind out these round wins. That's what it's all about. Even when Tyloo make it difficult for you, even when Tyloo play aggressive, the rounds come close, but Big always seem to have the slight edge, as Excurate takes quite a lot of damage there, down to 28 HP at the start of the proceedings.
Tyloo avoiding banana this time. Well, the problem is when you run into A, it's tabseN looking right at you, so this is not going to be easy for Tyloo, but they love smokes, they love getting up in your face and playing chaotically.
Again, though, look at the minimap. Big are really ready for this. They've pushed down Banana. Big always 1 step ahead. And oh, Smooya gets 2 from behind. Nearly the 3rd. This is all going swimmingly for Big. The round's already over, Dinko. That was just so quick. The push down Banana does everything.
Incredible shutdown from Big there. You know, Smooya coming in, Banana spots the info. Tyloo haven't thrown any utility there. They haven't done anything. I'm going to push through here, get proactive, find the info, and they just pinch them all different angles. Tyloo had nothing to say about that one. Excellent plays from Big. And I think we've also, another point to really talk about, Alex, we've kind of started talking about maybe 2 players isn't enough to go off for a team. And we kind of say, you know, NRG, they've got that trio that can step up in Ethan, Breezy, and Cirque. Here on Big, you know, it is tabseN and Smooya at the top, but the X Factor can be next. If he shows up, Big generally have a good chance of winning.
The surprising thing for Big is everyone is about at the same kills right now. Tizian is their bottom fragger with 9 frags.
Oh!
Okay, God, what are you doing? Wallbang found Tizian in to support him, and oh, God misses the shot this time. Tizian struggling with the spray. This was looking great for Big, but maybe not so great anymore. Godby needs to make sure he stays alive on 19 HP. Oh, he's crouching forwards. Godby is going to be dealt with, but DD's got 2 more to find.
Yeah, DD in the back lines, AWP. Haven't really seen him on it too much, but let's see what he can get done with it. Close shot, hits it, but not enough damage to make tabseN fall. This guy's a juggernaut, and it will be 10-2. Big double figures already. They look to make a statement here today after being defeated by Tyloo in their opening matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I know the games went on quite late yesterday, Dinko. I think it might have been past my bedtime, so the teams today wanting to make sure they get this one over with quickly, especially Big. We've had 2 zeros throughout the day, really. It's been pretty quick stuff, and Big looking to make that more of the same as they dominate their opponent's map pick. Again, a 10-2 lead, and Tyloo trying their best to do whatever they can. The They've got the full buy once again with the AKs. At this point, you almost want one of the individuals to make a play, to do something, but Smooya's going to stop that from happening. He gets the opening kill down Banana, and again, Big are stacked in towards A, where Tyloo are looking likely to push.
Man advantage for Big already into round number 13. Big have definitely just been outclassing Tyloo all across the board, making the right calls, making the right reads, and Tyloo haven't been able to deal with it, haven't found a way back into this. And perhaps the recent results against some teams they should be are really telling the story here. They kind of look lost, only relying on those chaotic situations to try and find kills and break up Big's defense, but they've handled it pretty well here.
Well, Tyloo seem to love giving Smooya the opportunity to make plays. Moving in towards the B side of things, and the communication is there. God B rotating over, but Smooya likely to be the first point of contact. No, it's God B to swing out aggressively, and that smoke makes all the difference. God B, oh, what is happening? Smooya gets a couple of kills, nearly the third, as Buntet looks in towards him. And what can Buntet do? The answer is nothing. Smooya with another quad kill towards the B site, and again, Tyloo just getting shut out.
This is going to be brilliant for Smooya, you know, just always picking up the quad kills. He's got 2 already in this game. This is going to be such a confidence booster for him. And we can probably see Smooya start to open up even more, picking up kill after kill, and that's scary for Tyloo. If you've got tabseN and Smooya playing well, and pretty much the rest of Big doing the damage, then this is scary territory for the Tyloo side.
Yeah, I'm sure Smooya's getting hyped up right now. There's the classic Smooya woo, which I'm sure he's going for. I can't go quite as high pitch as Smooya, so I'm not going to attempt it. Captain Mo, again, the early damage always goes the way of Big. I think it's really their utility usage which is helping provide that for them. They always seem to get damage right at the start of the round, in part because Tyloo are trying to get aggressive map control, but also because Big are one of the best teams at using utility. In particular, they're actually the best team in the world at getting flash assists. Take a look at Excurit, though. He's found a gap in the defense. He could really make the difference pushing up through A long.
He keeps pushing forward, playing a contact play, waiting for his teammates to get into position. And Excurit, he spots the head of tabseN, taps away, looks for more, but Nex able to step up as he gets both kills. Tizian comes in from the archway and assists in Big success.
Oh man, it looked like Tyloo had the perfect position. Excurit gets the opening, but Nex still performing for the team. Tyloo may have found the weakness towards B, but again, it's Smooya towards this site. Easy kill for him to find. The utility usage not there. And Captain Mo has got an almost impossible road ahead of him. I think he's already saving. I mean, he doesn't look likely to win this one. Big are just too damn good.
Yeah, Captain Mo just making his merry way back to spawn.
Oh.
I don't know if you can actually jump on that.
No. There is a place around the corner where you can jump up on the half wall and then have a pretty nice angle. It's still good, though. Big are just sitting back. This is going to be the most boring 10 seconds of Counter-Strike you will ever see. Nothing's happening. Everyone's saving. I mean, what can we even say at this point? Tyloo have taken quite a few rounds close, but Big have always had the structure to kind of get them on top in the chaos.
I feel like their structure is definitely something that's giving them the edge here. I feel like Tyloo, like it was highlighted on the desk, needed to bring that sort of disrespectful style of play to even try and disrupt the structure of Big, but they're just playing it perfectly and being able to handle it. I feel like they're just shutting them down before they get anywhere. tabseN shuts them down towards A, Smooya able to collect the kills when they come at him on B. I feel like they're just ready for anything being thrown at them. Excurit, we've sort of talked about his potential on this map with AWP on the T side. He's only got himself 3 kills, so definitely he's been locked out of the server. And currently Big, this is one of the most one-sided scorelines I think we've seen all day.
Yeah, it's got to be up there towards the top. I was looking up some Malta facts earlier, Dinko, and I found out that Malta is apparently the most generous country in Europe, with about 3 out of 4 people donating to charity on average. And I think Tyloo are going to need some charity to help them here because they are really far behind. Maybe they will get it in this round. Captain Mo moving forwards.
Yeah, Nex in the back lines towards the site. Looks for a little bit of action, but Tizian's the man to step up. The AUG is definitely doing work in Tyloo. They're trapped inside of this pit. Excurit, somebody at DD. They'll try and fight their way through. And Excurit makes space. Somebody picking up a kill with the AWP. He's got himself 2 already in this round, so definitely doing damage. And Tizian on the spot has the AUG in play. And he goes again right through the smoke. DD is dropped. It's all on somebody to make the play. A 1 versus 2 for Tyloo here. It's going to be difficult. The bomb is not in his possession. but he'll slither around and try and find information. He's looking back towards middle, knows that that's clear. And with the smokes that were up, it allows him to sort of get into a better position himself, keep Big guessing on where he is. Of course, Big don't have the solid 100% info of where he is at this point. They can guess and they can set up, but they don't know where he is. But Smooya doesn't care. The tap comes in towards the head. The AWP will impale somebody, and they will take the half 13-2. Big on a nice road to a one-sided Inferno.
Yeah, nicely done at the end there. Somebody was always going to have issues finding both of those players. Again, if you just tuned into the stream, you might think that Big have been having it easy with a 13-2 lead. But I do have to stress that quite a few of the rounds have come close, right? Tyloo have been able to get towards bomb sites. They haven't always got the bomb down, but they've definitely pressured Big. It's more Big kind of stepping up to the plate in a lot of these positions. And I don't think Tyloo are playing too badly. It's just the fact that Big have looked really, really solid throughout this first map. Maybe, again, the preparation coming into play from God B, something we always mention because it's always relevant, and this pistol round almost a must-win. Big going into Banana.
Bentet's got to get himself inside the sandbags. It's going to be a bit and switch setup between him and somebody. Bentet needs to go huge here. They're running towards somebody, has so much info. The flashbang comes through. Bentet actually takes a shot at his teammate, and the kills come through from Nex. He doubles up, a smoke towards CT, and Big have the advantage to work with. As they keep running in towards the bomb site, Captain Mo in the back lines. This position is so strong to work with. He's going to spot the player across, but that shot will give away his position. The Molotov comes in, but Captain Mo makes it work for one kill. Burning alive, Excret comes in from behind. He could get a little bit more here as Nex and Golby, they have to win the clutch. A 2 versus 2, the damage done, and they're so low. One bullet on both players would eliminate them. The only problem for Big is the bomb's in the spot, but Nex just keeps pushing forward. He'll collect himself the kills. I believe that's a quad kill from Nex in this round, so a grip pistol from Big as they continue to pummel Tyloo into the ground.
Another round where Tyloo take it close. It's into a 2v2, but Big always have the slight edge to take themselves over the line. I mean, I feel so bad for Buntet there. It seems like nothing is going right for Tyloo. Even when Buntet is landing shots, it's on towards his teammate's head, which is really unfortunate. I think Tyloo are probably, yeah, they're just going to force at this point. They're just so far behind. They need anything to go their way. And Big have surprisingly gone for many MAC 10s, so maybe that gives Tyloo some slither of hope, but Smooya's already opened up the round.
Yeah, DD coming in from behind. He has that CZ in play inside of the smoke, but unlikely he gets much done as Golby will eliminate him. Tabs in with a kill with a MAC 10 as well. It's Bentet and somebody left alive to try and prevent Big from taking map points here. And map number 1 of this best of 3 series. The bomb getting planted from Tabson. Bentet and somebody still inside of smokes. You know, this is exactly what we expect from Tyloo. Just sit inside of smokes, but this time you're not going to be able to really field much. But somebody is doing something. Gets one. And it's 15-2. Map point for Big here in Inferno.
Yeah, you can see Big on your screen looking very calm. Gobby's even adjusting his monitor. Don't really know why. It's been going great for you. You don't need to change anything at this point. You can just see how comfortable Big look, though. They know they should have this map in the bag. I'm sure they are very confident heading into Dust 2 as well. That's a map they've been trying to make their own right now. And again, it's a force buy for Tyloo. It's dire straits for the Chinese and Indonesian side. They've gone for whatever they can, and there's still not too much to show for it. Not a single rifle.
Well, somebody needs to make something work here as he runs through the smoke. He's going to be sprayed through by Tabson. Tizian picking up a kill as well. Not looking good for Tyloo at all here. Big just want to end it and get themselves onto Dust 2. Escript, Bentet, and DD got a lot of work to try and save themselves here. The grenade lands right on top of DD as well, just to add some insult to injury. Next Flicks takes the kill. And Big then can start to gather their players towards the banana position. You know, B is completely open at this point. Tyloo, I don't see a way they can even have a chance here.
Hexker and Buntet need to do it. The two Indonesian men on this Tyloo side, and unfortunately for them, they're not even at the right bomb site. The push is coming in towards B. Big making sure they're playing methodically, but they will soon realize that B has been entirely evacuated over on the Tyloo side of things. I think the CTs are finally figuring it out, but they're really too late. They don't have a kit. This is all but over, at least for the first map. And remember, we've got Dust 2 coming up next. After Big take this map, they'll head into Dust 2, a map that they are really confident on, and one that Tyloo don't necessarily play too often. But here we go, the last shot. Oh, okay, Tabson misses, but Godby secures the victory. A 16-2 win for Big. They are loving life.
Yeah, the Big were definitely the better team here. I mean, they had Smooya stepping up, they had Tabson stepping up. Everyone on the team essentially was doing their job, you know. Everyone, there isn't anybody, if you look at the scoreboard, that's too above each other. So definitely a great performance across the board from Big. I think Tyloo did play the disrespectful playstyle. They tried to get that through. They were throwing smoke, causing chaos, leaving it late, but it just didn't work. Big were ready and dealt with it easily.
Yeah, and again, looking at the scoreboard there at the end, Tizian was at the bottom with 15 frags, Tabson was at the top with 18 frags. Everyone on Big showed up. What can you do when you get that level of performance from them? When they're showing up individually and they've got that sort of tactical fallback that God B gives them, that makes them a ridiculous side to play against, and Tyloo felt the force of that today.
Yeah, Tyloo, definitely, you know, it was a rematch from that grudge match we see in the opening matchup between these two teams in Group B. Big wanted to make a statement, and boy, they've definitely done that. 16-2 victory here on Inferno. And I feel like Tyloo definitely stand a chance on Dust 2, but Big should feel comfortable, definitely.
The one thing I will say about Dust 2 is that it's the one map where we've maybe seen a few more funky results in the past. Sometimes even when Big have picked it, they haven't necessarily been able to take it over the line. And there's also the chance for some sort of innovation maybe from Tyloo if they've come out with some crazy strategies or something like that, because it is one of the more recent maps. But if anything, it's probably Big who have been one of the teams that have really taken to this map and tried to find the most success on it. So it's really hard to see Tyloo coming back.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that next map, but to break the one we just watched on, we've got the analyst desk for you just now.
Big movements, big plays, and a big statement on the first map from the German team with Smooya in there as well as a little Brit to do the damage. And he did well this time around. He started to shine a little bit more. But generally, the whole team were just on a mad fragging campaign. And Chad looks so chill right now because that's what he's been doing watching the game, going, as expected. As expected.
Well, I didn't expect a blowout like that. There was one competitive round, right? It was that like on the A bomb site, whereas Bentet and Execute, they actually got a lot done in the chaos and they isolated Jules, and that was basically the highlight of the game right there for Tyloo, I think. But for me, what needs to be praised for Big, not only winning by such a large margin, is a lot of teams give respect to Tyloo when they're doing their default. Now, Tyloo gamble a lot that they have taken the territory and it's not going to be taken back from them, and then they can do a late or mid-round B execute or a late or mid-round A execute, but they don't have anybody there. Most teams you'll see do a default, leave a player to hold territory, make sure to make noise or to lurk. Tyloo will send all 5 players and then execute and hit a site. Big had them on lockdown with that read, right?
Completely.
They had a lot of pushes coming in. Whenever they took territory, they were more than happy in transition to find frags. Obviously, saw that round with Next jumping up on the roof. But we were on his POV while 2 players pushed Banana. There was lots of rounds like that where they had read him like a book, God B doing the AWPing, and the bloody Orgs. They came out real early, didn't they?
We got to talk about that, right? It wasn't just a few Orgs. We know about the God B scenario where he goes for the silent stem 4 and he goes in for the Org, and it's his kind of tactical play of it across most maps. But here, everyone on Big, if you didn't have an AWP in your hand, you had an Org. And that was it. It was just them fragging away, doing all the damage.
Listen, I don't know if this is the final form of the AUG, if it's really going to take over the M4A4. I hope it doesn't, for the sake of, you know, variation and diversity. But definitely, I think if you're going to try and play the AUG, you might as well do it as soon as possible. Because you're going to take time until you reach the point where you're really proficient with that weapon. I have a few names in mind, Elige, Chris J, NBK as well, playing new weapons. And you have to take the risk and do it as early as you can. Big is doing it. I'm not sure it's going to become the meta that, you know, people play with for AUG. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to see. It's fun to see.
And one of the things we saw time and time again, right, and it's what you started to talk about as well, Chad, in terms of just they were executing as a team the whole time, which just meant Big would happily realize, okay, they're going A, push positions.
This is where the choice of Inferno, for me, was a kind of a worrying question, right?
Sure.
Inferno is a tactical map, and you said it right. Big, very, very consistent and very professional at taking information. This is extremely important on Inferno. If you have to fall back on the A side, retake information middle. If they have Banana, maybe retake it. Big did it very well, and they punished Tyloo completely.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe on a map like Cash, I mean, it is possible to retake information, but I feel like it's not as important and as, like, definitive to play on the information base. Inferno, in my opinion, was a risk, and this is now the second time that Tyloo picks him up in the best of 3 and win 2 and/or 5 rounds.
I think one of the scariest things about playing Tyloo is because there's a reason that teams give them that respect I was talking about of the map control, is because when you play the tighter choke point, so you can test for this area, that's when they like pounce and then they'll kill you and then they're able to snowball. But once they've bought that, once they've purchased that respect, then they do those executes to the constant. I remember playing at them, and this is obviously a very different lineup and years ago, but at a minor on Cache, and we knew we had full map control on the CT side, and we knew they were coming B. So we were stacking 3 players B every single round, and they were still executing and destroying us, right? So here's the thing. With the pushes and with the timing and the preparation that Big have done, they realized when they should have pushed, how they should have pushed, and how to take advantage of this Tyloo roster, and then they just had them absolutely red throughout this entire game. I think that is the key factor of why it was so easy. The scrappy rounds, you saw the one where Tabson had to push in through the smoke and find a couple of AWP kills towards B. Tizzy in early stages with the AUG within that A bomb site. And we had another round similar. But there wasn't too many rounds where it felt like Big were a threat, because once they lost a round, they still had enough money to buy, right? They never felt like they were on the point of having the economy broken. And all in all, just an easy affair. And I agree with Maniac that it's just not good enough from Tyloo, is it?
No, we talk about them being able to frag well, right? But this is when their fragging becomes literally pointless, because they don't even get a chance to do it. You're shut down before you get anywhere. Your only option is to push through smokes and stuff like that. And this picture here just says it all right. 3.60 to 0.65.
I mean, that was a global victory from B, right? The next showing up again. And I think Chad made a great point, right? Sometimes you know what the enemy is going to do. That doesn't mean you win the round. But we said it individually. Maybe Tyloo could have an edge on Big. They definitely did not. Not in that game. Not only did Big know where they were going to go, but they get the frags when they're coming. So, you know, that's the deadly combo.
Now, I want to talk about this, right? The whole sniper battle, AWP versus AWP. We saw Tabson on it as well, but Smuya is the primary. Now, Excurate, he couldn't get into this game, understandably.
Yep.
But on Dust 2, I think this is where, if they can try and bounce back, this is their chance, right? Excurate's going to be the one to try and do the damage and challenge them there.
For sure, but a worrying side, they had 1 AWP kill, right?
Yeah, that's scary.
I know, first of all, we did say that he is a proficient AWPer on this map, on the T on Inferno, but he wasn't able to really get the AWP up a lot. They found themselves in either like low buy situations, or they were doing a lot of 5 rifle stuff so they could execute.
Oh, it's
once
not pretty again. It's really not pretty, is it?
Yeah, it's not a great record. So you have to consider for this Tyloo roster, right? Going up right now, they did speak about wanting to get a wider map pool. The problem there is, while you're trying to fix other maps, you're neglecting the maps that you were already good on. So we know that they were good on 3 maps, Inferno, Cache, and obviously Mirage was the cherry on top. That was the one that they went to time and time again. You want to add Dust 2, you want to add Overpass, so you at least have 5 maps in the pool. Well, the problem is, like, now that we're looking at Dust 2 here, if they put in a bit more work, that could be great for them, but on their own map pick, they just completely sucked and didn't even get a chance to warm up. So that is more of a worrying sign for me, if anything. Big basically just got to play a game against like bots. I'm not saying Tyloo are bots, but what I'm saying is it's like playing against bots in a warm-up environment.
Away, getting yourself
just so people at home don't misconstrue my language. And then in the second side of things, Tyloo, they weren't in the game at all. Those games, you just go, what happened, right? It's good to lose in that fashion because you're not going to dwell on it. But at the same time, you didn't get a chance to feel like you were in the game. And those little nuances, those little details of feeling like you can actually shoot them in the head is a big problem. And mental resets are not an easy thing to do, especially when you're now on the precipice of being knocked out of the tournament.
And that's the thing, right? This is do or die for Tyloo now. You go into Big's pick, and okay, some of the results aren't pretty for Big on this map. Still a solid win rate, and they are putting up numbers on it. I do question, obviously, we saw the Gambit game, right? They had it won, and they failed to close it out. But at this point, I was thinking if you put Gambit up against Tyloo in this form, Gambit probably still win that one as well, because I didn't see anything where I'm going to go to Tyloo and say, yep, good chance. We're going to move forward with this quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to try and really take Tyloo's perspective here, and I'm going to try to be very optimistic for them, I could say they had a decent showing against Hellraisers, who picked us 2 against them. They didn't roll over and just get destroyed, 16-11. They could play the map a little bit. And also on the big side of things, they went a little bit sloppy on Gambit. We argued that they could have closed that game very early, I mean, much earlier than what they did. So if you put these 2 together, I think, Chad, you brought a very interesting point. When you get destroyed like that, it's very hard to get in the rhythm directly at the beginning of the second map, right? Because sometimes maybe you're going to be down 15-3, but then you do some sort of a comeback to 15-7, 15-8. These 4 or 5 rounds, they get you in the zone. You start like you feel, okay, this is it. I'm feeling it. But Tyloo never had the occasion. They got blown out of the first map. And now if they take 4, 5, 6 rounds to wake up on those 2, that could be it.
Already in that hole, right?
Exactly, that's the thing.
And Extra is going to be a massive condition in this one, right? Because look, the double AWP setup is prevalent. We saw Gobby use it, we saw Tabson use it, we saw Smooya use it. So the AWP's going to come in here. We know the AUG's going to be in play as well. AUG and AWP. That's going to sound very. Going to have to make sure that I enunciate as clearly as possible. But I think that
You sounded very British then, by the way. That was really good.
I'm not very good at the British accent, but I think this game here should be another victory for Big. But there's no way I can see it being as much of a whitewash. It would just be. That would be a shellacking. That would be a pantsing, as we call it down under.
There you go, trying to bring yourself back, right?
Well, if you play pool and you don't sink a ball, then you got to run around the pool table with your DAX down.
Oh. That's how they do. That's how they do pool.
You play a lot of that, Chad?
No, I don't play pool.
Okay. I was about to say that's a risky move to take. Well, we can wrap this up quite nicely on that. I was thinking about people in Australia running around with their pants down.
Upside down, of course.
Upside down, of course. There you
Like,
go.
even more difficult to do so. You know, think about it. But.
It's all that drink, right?
Anyway.
So it gets to them. It gets to them. But it is time to get on to a break. And when we come back, we will see if Tyloo can try and defend themselves a little bit, regain a bit of honor. But will the big boys close it out 2-0? We'll be finding out shortly. It's going to be back with Dinko and Hawker very soon. So don't go anywhere. Stick with us and we'll be right back.
Sie haben eine Big Box bestellt. Vati, wer war das?
Das war irgend so ein hässlicher Typ, Mann. Riesengroß war der auch.
Hässlicher Typ? Ich mag keine hässlichen Typen.
Ich auch nicht, ey.
Was ist denn das?
Ich glaube, das ist so eine Big Box bei runtime.gg. Vielleicht sollten wir das Unboxing-Video machen.
Nee.
Lieber nicht, ne?
Banks have failed to move with the times, but we don't need them. Back in 11th century Italy, merchants from all over would exchange their different currencies for trade outdoors on benches, which is where we get the word bank from, banca. They started as a way of making our lives easier. Unfortunately, this all changed. As the bank profits grew bigger, customer experience was lost in a maze of paperwork and bureaucracy. They invented new and complicated ways of growing their margins, built on hidden fees and taking liberties with their customers' money. But there's a solution. Revolut Metal, a stainless steel card that does more than just look good. An authority to tear down borders, make our finances as mobile as we are. Free to spend in 130 currencies worldwide at the real interbank exchange rate. Think sending unlimited amounts of money abroad with no fees.
With free worldwide travel insurance. Think seamlessly buying and selling cryptocurrency in seconds and earning cash back instantly in the fiat or cryptocurrency of your choice. Access to 24/7 concierge from your phone to book what you want when you need it.
For a truly borderless lifestyle. And all this in your pocket.
Demand more from your bank. Revolut Metal. Radically better.
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
Hello and welcome back to the Supernova Multi. We're here and we're in the final game of the day for us, or possible final game. We've got a map coming up that, you know, Dust 2 could be a map Big could end this best of 3-2-0 on, or Tyloo could bring it to them and upset on this map and take us to a third.
Yeah, this isn't a map that Tyloo play too often. I think other than Nuke, which they basically never play, this is the map they've only played 5 times in the last 3 months. Not really a map they like to play too often, but if they want to come back in this series, they've got to pull out the goods.
Yeah, I feel like Big coming into that first map just completely outclassed them on all levels, right? Our 16-2 scoreline doesn't happen without that happening, right? So we have Smooya stepping up. That's a big factor that Big need. Also, Tabson obviously has been thrown pretty consistently across the entire event anyway. But everyone on Big was doing the work. It was every single player. Like you said, you pointed out Tizian was the bottom fragger. He had 15 kills, right? And at the top was Tabson on 20. So, yeah. I mean, it's how close the margins were between every player on that team.
Yeah, exactly. And you also have to kind of remember the fact that Tyloo hopefully won't be thinking about that past map. They've got to just completely take it out of their mind. It's really tempting to try and talk about what went wrong, but at the same time, you're still in the tournament. Sure, you might not like Dust 2, but you've got to just do what you can, go on. Again, Chad was saying on the desk, maybe if Xcurate takes over on the AWP, that's a win condition for them. There's still chances.
But even it was discussed on the desk, if we go to that third map, they still favor Big on that. Yes, Tyloo have beat them already on Overpass in this tournament already, but they still favor them as the better Overpass team anyway. Tyloo definitely kind of got lucky that Smooth had a slow start to that game, and obviously Big were making some really silly mistakes, and they definitely did not make those types of mistakes here on Inferno.
Yeah, exactly. I still feel like heading into Overpass, which would be the third map if we need it, I've got to agree. I feel as though it's likely that Big would be able to take that one, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. First, we've got to focus on Dust 2. Again, a map that Big do like to play. Tyloo have played it in this tournament, though. They played against Hellraisers. That was a kind of close game. It ended 16-11, but it's still Hellraisers who edged them out.
Yeah, they actually look pretty good on this map at certain points. In particular, Somebody. He's a very entertaining player to watch towards a long. I feel like they really exploited sort of Hellraisers' the new team element, sort of having Hobbit just being brought into the team. They like to sort of isolate him and abuse that sort of one weakness. But other than that, Tyloo didn't really show us too much hope on this map. So hopefully they can bring their next level here today. But I believe we're going to get into the knife. And this is, of course, for anybody who is new to Counter-Strike, which I'm sure there is a few people, the knife round is what decides which half or side you start on. And generally, on Dust 2, I don't feel like it matters as much.
Yeah, we're kind of in a position where both teams should be okay starting on either side realistically. I don't think it's too big of a deal. I will say, though, that it would kind of be nice for Tyloo to win the knife, just to start on the half they feel most comfortable on. If they could get off to a good start, that would be really nice for Tyloo, just to get comfortable early on, get some rounds on the board, and start to get in the zone on Dust 2, because that's something that could never come through for them on Inferno. They were always on the back foot. They could never play their own game, and if they could at least get a pistol round win, get the first gun round, the confidence would start to grow, and you can actually see Tyloo looking fairly relaxed there. They were having a couple of smiles, so that's a really nice sign.
Yeah, it's always good just to sort of put that loss out of your head and just try and concentrate onto the next thing. Dust 2. We kind of had the discussion yesterday that we kind of feel like this map is becoming a little bit more structured. Back in the day, it used to just be very loose. The teams that generally had the aim stars, the punky players, generally had a lot of fun time on Dust 2. But I feel like it's going a little bit more in the structured way, and that's going to favor Big.
Exactly. That's, I think, why part of the reason why Big go to this map. It is much more structured. Big can kind of capitalize on that structure. And here we go. The nades already coming in from Big on their T side. Smoke in towards mid, and tabseN opens things up right at the start of the round.
Somebody, though, cool cam and collected from the bottom of the tunnels. Only able to collect one headshot, though. So Big still with the advantage as they run on in. tabseN connects the headshot on the Captain Mo. Coming in from behind is Xcurate, but he's dropped by Tizian. So it's all onto DD. 1 versus 4 as the bomb ticks away.
Yeah, and talking about tabseN, he didn't have to have that insane performance back on Inferno because the rest of the team were stepping up around him. But there's always the chance that tabseN can take over any game he is playing in. I remember back in sort of 2015, Nex was touted as maybe the best German player. I think in recent years, for most of the time, it's been tabseN who's been highly regarded as the best player in Germany, and I'm sure we will see signs of that come through here on Dust 2. And with Tyloo being forced to a full eco, Big will take the range advantage towards A long.
Smooya just charging straight for one with his AK. Only gets the 1 kill, traded back by Somebody. Has been tested the damage as well. Smooya throwing away an AK. I would have liked to, he did have the spawn right for it, but I would have loved to have seen GobB go for that. He has the SMG, the MAC-10 is great at sort of just finding that high mobility, sort of fast pushes out of long. So it would be nice to see the MAC-10 go for that instead of dropping the AK. But it can be collected, it can be picked up, so it's not the end of the world. And Tyloo will just try to get a little bit down here, but Big should be pretty comfortable at taking this one over the line. GobB will connect. Tizian with one as well. Last 2 kills should be easy pickings for the Big side.
Yeah, kind of a decent idea from Tyloo there. They had 2 players boost behind the smoke to attempt to look towards the site, and sometimes teams might not expect that angle as they push towards the site itself. They might be focused elsewhere, so it's understandable as to what Tyloo were trying, but again, Big are generally prepared for anything. GobB was able to clear the corner, and Big take the round comfortably Although the same shouldn't be said for round number 3. The full buy comes through for Tyloo, albeit with one weak weapon. DD stuck with the scout, and it's a potential B-rush, but they decide to slow things down. I was going to say, if that B-rush came through, the scout could have been in trouble, but doesn't come in. Instead, it's a mid to B.
Smooya charging through, has the help of Gob B towards this position inside the middle. Smoke going to come in towards CT as that one was about to fade. Flashbang for Gob B as he charges up the B ramp. Extra is on the opposite end of this door. You've got a lot of control here. Gob B being sent in through the window. Kill comes in from DD onto Gob B, but traded back. Next finds the kill, but Tet steps up. Next and Smooya, they get the frags. And it's all on a Captain Mo and somebody to make this work for Tyloo. As Big are looking strong, but again, Smokes.
Somebody.
Oh, that's a big kill. Next falling, that's the bomb plant denied. He can slither back inside of the tunnels, but Tamsin makes the difference again.
Somebody has the bomb here. Wow, he's going aggressive. The flash comes in. Somebody just taking the game to the opponents. Doesn't get the kill. Again, Tabson too quick on the trigger. Somebody nearly made the difference there. He was able to drop the bomb. Big got a bit too ahead of themselves. They had the players stick towards mid rather than helping the bomb go down. But you can see God B still happy with the round win. In fact, the coach also having a smile. I think you can just see how relaxed Big are. They almost feel like they are big favorites right now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely need to limit the word big. We have to go with more adjectives such as large.
Massive.
Ginormous, yeah. We need to find some words to use apart from big when we're casting this team. Next, he's opening things up, getting the 2 massive kills. And it's X-Group, Tet, and DD only with the pistols here. They got a Deagle on DD. So there's still a chance here to get a little bit more. Big would have loved to have picked this one up much more cleanly than they have, already losing Smooya and God B. Tabson close towards long. It's all about limiting casualties at this point.
Big not really moving forwards. I think Xger is just waiting into this position. He was even looking at his teammate's monitor. I think that's DD next to him who's holding the angle, but now he's got to focus on the screen himself because the smokes have come in. And again, the same play for Big against the pistols. They move on towards the site. Xger is in the midst of that smoke. He's still not been spotted. The dink foul, but not enough for the kill. If only he had an upgraded pistol, he would have been able to take out Tabson, but it's not going to matter. Xger stuck in CT, and he finally gets an upgraded pistol, a Deeg into his hands, but it's just a little bit too late.
You can maybe get next if Big decide to walk this way, but highly unlikely that that is going to happen. Big can save off towards long. I'd love to see Xger just hold that angle towards long, you know, just see if they cross over. That would have been probably the best way to find kills, but too far gone at this point. Tizian looks to want to take the fight still. Xger landing shots, not hitting Tizian though. So another round goes on the board for Big as they take 4-0. The money is there for Tyloo, plenty of it, so they can get that all by on Xger. A second op being picked up on Captain Mo as well. As we take a look at the scoreboard, much of the same. Tabson and Nex at the top of the scoreboard, followed in by Smooya, Tizian and God B down towards the bottom. So you got your Fraggers still up there. Alex coming in, Big should feel comfortable, but this is an important one for Tyloo.
I also think Tabson was fully out of ammo at the end of that round. You heard the clicks of the gun, which I don't know how he's managed that, but oh, there we are. Next takes the AWP at the start of this one. He had the good spawn. He gets aggressive, and Smooya says, I want some more, please. He's going to push in through shorts, and Tyloo don't seem aware of this angle.
Smooya's crept up, spots the head towards long, takes the shots. No kill just yet. As the smoke drops on the spot, the flashbang goes over the top as well. With 1 minute and 22 seconds left, there's still plenty of time for Big to just make a decision, an informed decision at that, just gather the info if needed, and then find a final push to come in. Tyloo, they've still got the double op intact, so that's going to be scary for Big. I mean, walking into a bomb site, those ops can definitely have impact.
And again, you see Smooya kind of called back there, decided to go aggressive, then God B kind of reins him in and says, hey, we don't need to do anything else. We've got the man advantage. As long as we stick together, it's very likely we will win this round. Xger getting aggressive. There's the kill, but Smooya instantly domes him. That's the trade they were looking for, and B is now very, very vulnerable.
Oh, somebody doesn't care, walks right through. Next, able to pick himself up the frag, burning alive in the back is DD. Tabson finds that, and so B is open. Captain Mo on his own. AWP in hand as he slithers back towards long to hide inside of that pit. Again, another chaotic round coming through, and I guess that's what you've got to expect when you're casting Tyloo, though.
I just love the way somebody drops the smoke on the molly, still runs through the smoke. He obviously just gave away the fact that he was in CT, and yeah, Big were ready for it. They end up taking him out of the action. Captain Mo looking to save the AWP, maybe able to do so. It's going to be pushed. Big with the money in the bank, and oh, one shot, or two shots probably from Next, finish the job. Man, I said that Tyloo would have loved that strong start to get themselves into this game. At this point, they absolutely run the risk of just falling too far behind. And in that earlier game against Hellraisers, Tyloo had a bit more success on their T side. I think they ended up getting 7 rounds on their T side at the half, which wasn't too bad for them. But they won the knife round here. They decided to start on the CT side of things, and it's not worked for them as Big rush B.
Yeah, going in, Gorby with the Mac 10. He's going to try and find the opening of DD. He's going to find the frag with the CZ. Next able to rectify the mistakes, but DD does damage. He gets 2, but probably not enough at this point. Tyloo sit outside the B bomb site. Next going inside the Molotov. Spray through. Next will pick up the frag. Taps with 1. Somebody tries to go get something done, but again, chaotic. But Tyloo, they're dealt with. 6 on the board for Big, and again, a great and convincing start from Big.
It almost seemed like somebody said, hey guys, I like pushing through smokes. Why don't you all try and follow me and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. So everyone went running through the smoke. Obviously you're on a low buy. Again, it's a chance for you to try and do something. You've got to take a risk. And DD did double down, but wasn't really enough to win the round as Tyloo switched things up. Double AWP set up in play. Smooya not going to get anything on the cross, and it's Buntet taking that second AWP for the Tyloo side. Earlier, it was Captain Mo taking that one. This time, it will be thrown back to Captain Mo. So it was all about the spawn at the start. Buntet wanted to hold A long, and again, somebody is so aggressive.
Well, I mean, it's a tendency for him to walk through smokes. Tizian's in a great position, boosted up to see that. There's a tiny gap in it that somebody was not aware of, and that's a free frag. At some point, you've got to realize getting that aggressive has to stop. If it's not working, you're not getting the kills, then you can't keep doing it. Yesterday, it worked against Hellraisers a lot of the time, but at this point with Big, you know, they're a much more structured team. They're going to be set up to deal with that aggression, and they're just taking him time and time again, and Tyloo just being picked apart. Man advantage again for Big, makes things as easy as possible for themselves.
Tizian will take that kill all day long. 55 seconds left on the clock. And Big have leaned more towards the B bomb site at the start of this half. However, this time they look to test A. Currently, Captain Mo has got the AWP at Van, but that smoke will make things more difficult for him. And Buntet is somewhat isolated towards A long. Captain Mo is going to have to land some shots here. 35 seconds left, and Big are preparing the push.
Yeah, Tapson looking towards long, finds the kill of the Captain Mo, and trying to collect himself a little bit more here. Tapson doing work, looks up, and kind of peeks at the ground, but that's a kill from Smooya coming through. It's executed 1 versus 3. He's on the opposite end of the map, so he will be running back to safety again, and Big have just been making everything work for themselves. The initial kill coming in, somebody trying to find some sort of advantage for Tyloo early. He's caught out by Tizian. Big are just ready for everything Tyloo is throwing at them.
Yeah, I mean, Big have found success towards B. They found success towards A. The mid control has generally worked for them as well. Again, Tyloo just not really finding anything. I think I just heard them taking that pause, so they'll try and see what's going wrong, but it's almost hard to keep a positive mindset right now. Obviously, they're going to have to try and keep themselves in this one. Again, this is an elimination match, so Tyloo are definitely going to keep themselves playing seriously, but with how this series has gone so far, Tyloo are just hoping to do anything they can to pull themselves a few rounds on the board, maybe just have some signs of life.
someone's kind of being a little bit vacant is Excurate, right? And he's the player we kind of talked about having that X factor sometimes, and it hasn't really been showing up here across the board. Inferno, we were excited to see what he could do on that T side with the AWP. Didn't really get into his hands much, and when he did, not much was found off the back of it. So Excurate kind of lost for Tyloo right now, and so if he begins to have a better performance, perhaps there's an opening here for Tyloo to make this a bit more competitive.
The thing is, I almost feel bad about calling out any of the Tyloo players specifically, because when you're losing this badly, it's obviously not one individual costing you the game. It's the entire team that hasn't been performing.
I don't think he's costing him the game. I'm just saying that having him step up would be a way for Tyloo to get into the game. And so Excurate, here's his chance. He's up towards middle. There's the shot. He picks it up easily, but taps in quick in the trade again. Even with a failed smoke, Big make it work.
And look at how vulnerable B is right now. Only a single player there holding it for Tyloo. They've got all the information, though. Look at somebody in the picture-in-picture. He's pushed through to CT spawn, so Tyloo will try to rotate over.
Somebody coming in back towards the B-bomb site in from behind. Tizian just making space, clearing B. They have to be a bit quicker here, Big, because somebody coming in from behind is a big problem. Tizian clears the angle. DD does a good job at holding, and somebody strikes in from behind, taps in the next, they step up. Captain Mo sprays away, but it's DD doing the work, doing the damage, and Tabson has to clutch. It'll be a 1 versus 2 and a quad kill if he's able to make this work for Big. As he comes in from the door, he finds the kill, and he sprays for the quad kill. Tabson is a beast, and 8 on the board for Big.
Even when Tyloo look like they've got the round under wraps, Big prove that they can still keep going. Man, oh man, that had to be the round for Tyloo. You feel like that's the one they would have wanted to win. It almost feels like Tyloo just can't get anything going for them. Again, Tabson got this opening kill in towards mid, but in this 1v2, Tyloo weren't able to play together. They didn't know where Tabson was, and in the end, it's Big to take an 8-0 scoreline. Smooya takes some damage from the scout and misses the shot himself, and that gives room for somebody to push through mid. Again, this man has got balls of steel. His aggression hasn't worked in the past, but he's still going, and it pays off for him.
This time it works, but it doesn't really matter on the grand scale of things, because his 2 teammates died before he got anything done. Tabson, he's going to be dropped by Excurate with the Deagles. They run into the B bomb site. Excurate could get something done with his picked up scout, so Deagle in his hand, kill comes in from Nex. It's on to somebody in Bintet to make this work. They've got an AK and a CZ in play. They've got Kevlar on somebody who's already picked himself up a kill in this round already. So Smooya, Nex, and God B have to play it carefully. Cannot afford to throw away anything. At this point, Tyloo probably just got to set up for a couple of exits, but the point still stands that Tyloo could get some damage done. The economy is built on Big, though. It's more about trying to get those weapons into the hands of Tyloo.
Well, Dinko, I don't want to jinx anything, but some would say that Big are halfway there, and I think you know what I mean. The 16-0 could come through. I've said it now, so I've just jinxed it. They're going to lose the next round, but it really has been so dominant. Again, somebody will look for action. Buntet just wants to save the AK. There might be a chance for somebody here, although Big seem to have just snuck in towards CT spawn, and Smooya in position to stop that from happening. I don't even know how to react to that. I didn't even know that was a picture on Dust 2. Look at the scoreboard, though. Tabson and Nex, the 2 players that were performing earlier in the day, just absolutely dominating this one.
Yeah, Nex is here to play, and that's what, again, like I said, if he's up there with Smooya and Tabson, they're fragging together, those 3 players. Big are in with a massive chance of winning. And so, 9-0, definitely showing a one-sided performance here, but the difference is now that Tyloo have got the full buy-in. They've got the double up setup, the 3 rifles across the board, along with plenty of utility. Tyloo have brought it close a couple of times. Tabson obviously winning the clutch was a big save for them into the 1 versus 2. The Big look to just try and spread out across the map in the beginning, but then congregate inside of middle to try and take to that short control, which is so integral to any play you want to play for.
Tabson starting to probe, as is Smooya. The flash thrown off the wall for himself, but Captain Mo very well prepared. Just hears the flash bounce off the wall, knows that a player's about to peek towards him. I think it would have been better for Smooya if he had a teammate flash for him there, but seems like Smooya got a little too cocky in that one, gives away the pick.
I feel like some players like to flash themselves. And I've had experience with players who like to flash themselves in those situations, and so maybe that's the thing that Smooya feels more comfortable, flashing himself into those positions.
To be fair, Smooya comes from UKCS. I can imagine teammates fluffing flashes all the time.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I'm sure he's had some mistakes made in the past. But you've got to be confident in Big. Again, I've said this a couple of times. They are literally the best team in the world at getting those flash assists. At least statistically they are. So that's obviously an impressive sign for them. But here we go. Tyloo, man advantage. 25 seconds left. This is a round they need.
DD, headshot onto Tabson, X-Grit the backlines, peeks up, hits the shot, nailed it in fact as he gets the second. Gold B in a 1 versus 4 has the AWP in his hands as he collects the first kill. 10 seconds just above that to plant this bomb. He's going to have to plant his shot, he has to commit to it. Tyloo know this, they can surround his position. They've got to come in with this retake. Gold B misses the close shot and that's it over, I'm afraid. Had to hit that to stand a chance and Bentet will hit the headshot and Gold B will fall. Finally, Tyloo will pick up a round. And it did come true, Alex. You jinxed the 16-0 call.
I actually jinxed the 16-0. I'm sorry, Big fans. Please don't hate me. Please don't flame me. I mean, I don't think Big fans will be too fussed because they've still got a huge lead.
Yeah.
Again, though, now we have to have a streak of rounds for Tyloo. As you pointed out, Big's economy is very well established. So if Tyloo lose this next one, they could instantly be reset, and that could almost be the game over right here. These next upcoming rounds will really decide how this game plays out.
Smoke for the cross, X going to walk right through it, looks towards the top of middle. Flashbang goes over the mid position, but Big don't care. They're going to run right through long, all 5 players towards this position. They look to just bombard this area, but the problem is Tyloo have plenty of people here to deal with that.
Yeah, oftentimes you'll see teams on the CT side put almost 2 or 3 players towards A long to try and hold that, because it can be a very early point of contention. The Ts get there about the same time as the CTs. It can be kind of close depending on spawns, but this time Tyloo don't put anyone towards A long, and Big will continue to creep forwards. This looks very likely to be an explosion towards A.
Somebody's going to have to go huge here. Big going to come towards this position. The thing is, though, they've got Bintet and Mo up towards shorts, so they can call each other upon help. And somebody's going to throw the Molotov towards the ramp, trying to delay. The smoke will drop in front of him, acting like another vision. A wall to play behind as he can peek through. Big gonna start to walk up the ramp. Headshot comes in as Nex is able to find somebody. So the opening kill is Big's as they keep continuing to push. It's been Ted to rattle off a shot right through the car, connects onto Nex's head. Captain Mo will pick up one with the AWP, but Golby burns alive Captain Mo, and we're into a 3 versus 3. Again, it's back and forth. Scrappy and DD. He's gonna try and push forward. Tizian wins that battle. It's on the X-Grit and Bentet to try and make this work for the 2 versus 3 retake.
I feel like they have to go for this. I don't think they can afford to save. Their buy would not be good enough, but I think they've maybe called this one off. The molly deployed, they realize they need the round. Tabson has to reposition, that's a start. Buntet drops in towards CT spawn to try to push forwards, but Tizian and Tabson playing a nice bait and switch, and the time is just so far against them. This round has to be done. Buntet may just die to the bomb, he gets a kill, but the round is over and done with. Buntet's got to die to the bomb here. He gets another frag, but it's all over. He's going to have to run away. Smooya will also stay safe. Wow, yeah, I'm surprised he lived, but does it really matter too much? They needed the round.
Yeah, at this point, you do really just need the rounds, but having anything to give you an extra chance to pick it up to the following rounds after the back of this, of course, the best case scenario for Tyloo is they get 5. And Big, they're in a pretty comfortable position at this point already. I feel like Tyloo just need something to go their way. And saving that AK is actually a big factor, because now Bentet picks up the AWP, they've got the UMP in play on DD. So this is that actually had a big impact, him staying alive there.
Yeah, and here's that start of the round I was talking about, where Tyloo put a couple of players over towards A long to try and hold this one off. Unfortunately for Tyloo, Big aren't there on this occasion, although somebody, again, looking to play an aggressive position towards A long. He could be tested here. Big are about to push towards him. Perfect flashbang. Again, those flashes on point for Big. Somebody the first to fall, and I feel like I've said that a lot this map. He's often getting picked off.
He's getting neutralized by the structure of Big, the great utility usage. They're expecting everything, and that's really countering the playstyle of somebody who probably at this point is getting frustrated that he can't play his own game. And so Big looking very good. They've got the advantage, and they don't commit off the back of it. They don't have to, so they can slow the player right down, consider what they want to do again. And Tyloo, they've got to stay guessing, and X-Grit has a nice angle here. But Big, they've got flashbang still, Alex, and utility still in play. This could get messy as X-Grit is blinded away from the angle.
Big might feel slightly pressured to push towards A here. If you look at the minimap, they don't have all that much map control, and because of that, they move in towards the A bomb site. 2 smokes deployed. There is one man holding the flank, but it looks as though Excurate may have been nullified by the utility. The AWP is kind of having to reposition. There's a slight gap in the smoke. Maybe he can use this to his advantage, but Tyloo have got most of the information. They've pushed through B tunnels, and so they will try to stack towards A, and with 25 seconds, Big have to go to the A site.
They've waited here long enough, and I think Tyloo, with all the information they've got, they know this is the case. It's going to be a battle here on the A bomb site. Big have the advantage, but for how much longer? As Gobi runs in, a great flash again, as Gobi picks up the kill. tabseN will double up, and Next finishes it off. Easy pickings for Big, and they might just get the extra money here, but no. The bomb plant won't come through. It's Big still on 11-1. They don't need that extra money. They've got tons of it.
They're all good. They don't need the cash. I think the idea there for Big was to fake the A long push, because initially they threw those 2 smokes to cut off CT. Then they waited a long time, not showing anything, and then they deployed the second smokes towards the end of the round. So they held on to those, and oh, hello, Smooya. He's known for his auto sniper. We've seen it in the past. I don't think he's going to get anything this time, though.
They keep toying with this, though. Tyloo seemed to want to tease him a little bit. He has got that AWP just to pick up after it. You know, they have so much money they can afford to do that. So just throw it down, pick up the AWP. I feel like Big could even extend upon the lead that they had in Inferno, right? They had a 13-2 half, and even here on Dust 2, they could get even more than that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with how this game has been going, that could absolutely be the case. Push into B. DD in a sneaky position. Oh, the timing might be just right. No! God B! I want to see that from his POV. Even God B is fragging, and that's so unfortunate for Tyloo. They rotated off the B site because of that push. Now Big have got a wide open site to play with. A couple of failed mollies into window, but I think the bomb will still go down, and they finally get that molly right.
Yeah, 3 attempts later, they get the window Molotov'd. The bomb will be planted in the corner. And so with 40 seconds, quickly, Tyloo have to try and come back in. We got P250, 2 USPs. Dizzy looks to topple the tower, but Bentet is able to collect the frag. And not much more will be found as Smooya able to capitalize with the AWP. It's 12-1 for Big. And could it be much worse for Tyloo at this point? They could end up being on 14-1, Alex, and at that point, it's probably one of the most one-sided games we've had to commentate in a while.
I mean, the only round Tyloo won was the round I jinxed Big. So you know what? I'm going to jinx Big again. I'm going to say Big are going to win this round. It's actually a jinx, though. It's reverse psychology. We might see Tyloo take it because I said that. Who knows? As Smooya starts to push down mid. This is the Smooya that I know from the UK CS days. Pushing down mid. Doesn't get the opening. Excurate wins the fight, but tabseN has opened things up for Big.
Yeah, missing 2 shots. Excurate able to open things up, and it's into the 4 versus 4. Somebody posted up towards the short position. Excurate looking for a little bit more action, but it's somebody getting aggressive. Next will be able to double up again, giving the advantage to Big. So Tyloo kind of throwing that one away. And so Excurate and DD into the 2 versus 3. Next, oh, he's close to the Excurate inside of that smoke. There's AWP in this angle. There's no way you deal with this. And no scope is going to be so accurate in this close quarter angle, but Excurate is going to back away. And instead train his vision up towards the CT spot, but Excurate back looking towards mid. There's a player coming right into the crosshairs of Next. Excurate gets the info, got a peek through, and Next gets the kill. It's a quad kill from Next in this one, and Big will take 13. Last round of the half coming up, Alex, and this could be an absolute massacre.
It almost already is a massacre, Dinko, honestly. Like 13-2, oh, here are the AWPs, here we go. 5 AWPs, please, I want to see it. Okay, an SG for tabseN. Oh no, an auto sniper. We've got a lot of snipers coming into play. Again, there's that open gap down mid doors, so you can try and get the spam through. Let's see if it pays off for them. No damage done as of yet. No. Oh, okay. Captain Mode takes a little bit of damage, but not too much. But in the meantime, Big take advantage of that commotion. The bomb is rushing down mid. What are you doing, Smooya?
I think he realizes at some point, it's like, okay, this might just be a little bit silly. I'm going to back off that AWP bomb and get it into a safer position. tabseN just doing the easy job of holding towards long. Somebody, he's going to walk right through as usual and get dropped as tabseN misses that shot, so DD able to capitalize. Cannot create the scout with the AWP, but doesn't really matter when his teammates are dropping like flies elsewhere. Big posting the kills, posting the numbers. It's been Tet and DD left into a 2 versus 4. The bomb getting planted inside of the smoke. The smoke will deploy towards long. DD with the AWP, just trying to find a way back in. And Ted has got that UMP. He's going to be coming from short, but he only gets one, so it's all on DD. At this point, it would require somewhat of a heroic play from him. He's going to miss that first shot. Long spray coming in. Next, going to go for the dual Berettas, but it's Smooya to pick up the kill. And I think that's generally just shows Big's reaction to this game. Just chilling.
Yeah, this is a throwback performance from Nex, even outdoing Tabson, maybe trying to stake his claim as the best German player. He's going to have to improve a bit more to really do that consistently, but definitely nice to see Nex showing up for his team. I think we need to look forward to the future of this tournament, though, because into the semi-finals, if Big get the win here, they would play against Liquid, and that could actually be kind of interesting. If we see Nex show up like this, maybe they could even cause some problems for Liquid, who are meant to be the favorites for this tournament. And now, obviously, we don't know if Big can have this level of performance against the quote-unquote better opposition, but it still could be a really awesome matchup, even if Big are, gonna have a tough draw against Liquid. So that's a kind of cool storyline. Seeing Big perform so well gives me hope that maybe they could go the distance in this tournament.
Into this one, it's the pistol, and Golby looks to get aggressive up towards short, pulls the net just at the wrong time. Execute overwhelms him. Tabson inside of the smoke, falls the Execute as well, and gets himself the 2 kills. And they run in towards the bomb site. Smooya sitting on the car. Going to pick up one. Next time Tizian will come in and save the day for Big. Somebody in Bintet, they've got to make this work. Otherwise, Tyloo, it's going to be map and series point for Big, and Tyloo will be eliminated. Bintet has got that Glock, looking for a couple of kills. He gets one on the Tizian. Bintet, the last player alive, tapping away, but next he'll pick it up. Continues the good form, and Big will pick up map and series point.
Again, Nex is nearly on for the 30 bomb, and considering the amount of rounds we've had played, if he could get up to 30 frags, that would be absolutely incredible. We are going to see Tyloo obviously buy whatever they can, because it is map and series point for Big. And I think it's almost guaranteed that Big are going through to the semi-finals. The Scouts are going to do a bit of damage on the cross. That's what Tyloo have brought into this round. The Scouts, the pistols, the desperation buy for the Asian lineup. They're looking to do whatever they can.
Auto shotgun from Golby, getting aggressive this time towards long, tapping away, runs right in. A little unnecessary, but DD will pick up the kill. Next sitting inside of the pit. Got the AUG in his hands, running right towards him, close angled. He's waiting to see if anybody else was going to come through, but he'll collect the kill when needed. Flicks back, there's a triple for Nex, and that just shows, that's just a testament to how he's been playing in this game so far. So clean and clinical, and Captain Mo, he's the last player alive, and Big. They will end it 16-1. Coming in from Inferno, I thought it would be a tough challenge to make it as convincing as they did on that one, but they make it more convincing here on Dust 2.
Again, Nex ends on 29 kills in a game that ends with, 17 rounds? That's ridiculous. Like, Nex had a beautiful performance here, not taking anything away from the rest of Big, though. They obviously were sublime throughout this series. What else is there to say? Big just absolutely outclassing Tyloo.
Yeah, they wanted to create a statement, right? They wanted to make a statement from losing the opening matchup against Tyloo. The mistakes were being made, but in this one it was just clean and clinical. There wasn't any mistakes, There was a couple of missed nades, but you can't really say anything about that when you've won 16-1 on Dust 2. So Big definitely made the statement here. Tyloo, they're out, but Big, they move forward into the semi-finals. And like you said, going up against Liquid, that's going to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I remember Godby saying earlier in the tournament in one of the interviews that Big didn't even get to prepare 100% for this tournament. If anything, they were kind of looking more towards Pro League, kind of using this tournament to help out some of the new strategies that Godby had implemented, because they had a couple of weeks off. So Godby was thinking of some new ideas, and they were trying to put some of those into practice here in Malta. And it seems like that's already working for them. So definitely positive signs for Big. But again, I really want to see what they can do against some of those higher tier teams.
Well, we're going to go over to the stage. We've got an interview.
I'm down here at the crime scene of a 16-1, and with me is a man who is completely innocent, of course, the coach of Big, Kakafu. Now, Alex, jokes aside, that was completely different from what we seen yesterday. What has changed? We were just like more focused. Like I think the people saw on overpass our B wasn't like ready. I would say like a lot of mistakes happened. Now we just like played I think on our normal level, and I think that's yeah. And then we just performed well. Right now, obviously you made short work of them here, but Tyloo is considered as a more explosive team, whereas you are a more tactical and structured team. What is it like to play against a team like Tyloo? It's always hard because like they do unexpected stuff, and I think everybody says that in the interviews. But if you're ready for that, you can easily beat them with like good nades, good setups, and just be ready that they do something crazy, and then you can also beat these teams. Now tomorrow, Liquid, old friends, old foes. You got a bit of a history between you. So, how do you feel about that? I mean, I'm very happy that we hit Liquid. There's like always hard opponents, but we love the matchup, and we want to prove that we can beat these teams. So I'm very excited and looking forward to that matchup. You heard it from the man himself. Now, it's time to head on to the analyst and let them do what they do best.
Thank you very much, Draulon. Get to hear from Kakafu, the coach of Big. We even saw him during some of that, just laughing in the background, because let's be honest, how do we even break that one down? It was the Germans and Smooya running around like crazy. Also, actually, let's correct that. It was Tabson and Next running around like crazy, playing a bit of deathmatch, and then a few kills coming the way. Like there was at one point, Gob had one frag. He was just throwing utility and just letting everyone else
They're my
clean up.
favorite type of games to play. We win 16-1 and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
There's no stress. You sit back. You hope that Next is going to continue this form forever.
Yep.
And then you win games.
Did you have many of them in your career though, Chad?
A few in Australia.
Okay.
Well, I know these games. I've been Gob because when I had the Apex and Kenny in my team and they would take off at the same time, usually I just had to relax. You know, sometimes I would throw a flash, just drink coffee, wait for the game to over.
So you're just sitting in like first class as they're driving the plane.
Yeah, that's how it feels like.
Your worry is that the hostess is bringing you some wine and you're just sitting back and enjoying the game, and then occasionally you listen to the report. It's like, oh, you know, we're landing soon.
We're winning.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool.
It's game over
But
very shortly.
3 rounds over 2 maps, completely unacceptable. Tyloo are going to be extremely disappointed with themselves. There isn't a whole lot you can say. That's why I went straight for the silver lining of the fact of Next playing fantastically once more. Going into tomorrow, if he can carry this form through and maybe a bit of confidence behind it, that is the necessary factor to have Big be competitive against a team like Liquid. So if we're going to look to be able to talk about anything from this, it's Big's form. We can't. What can we say? What else can we say?
It has to be Tabson, right? And it has to be Next. And Smooya comes in, chimes in with the AWP, he's doing his thing. Gob and Tizian play their positions. But the main thing is you look back at all the games that Big have played of recent times, and Next has been very hit and miss. He'll have an occasional good game, but I've not seen him have this many straight games in a while. And I said this before, right? Obviously, I speak to the big guys a fair bit, and these guys were telling me, like, Next is a fantastic player, but he's his own worst enemy. And now, if we can get him confident, if we can get him feeling good, because he's not the player that's out there shouting and screaming, right? He just plays his game and he wants to play well. But when he is playing well, my God, he does play well.
I mean, it's what Chad said. You know, what can we say about it? To me, watching this game, it was very hard to draw conclusions from it, because I could see this is not how it's supposed to be. I think it's one of these scenarios where a team overperform of some sort. Next and Tabson, 50, if my math are correct, that's 50 kills for 2 people, right?
Yeah.
That's 50 kills on 2 people in a 16-1 victory. So you have to say some players in Big overperforming, Tyloo completely disappearing. We were talking about the fact, you know, you get completely beat on the first map. How do you start the second one? Obviously, they didn't. They never really started, actually.
They never got
They're
to
still
it.
waiting for the IP to receive, you know. They haven't started the second map. So it's hard for me to make sense of what happened. But yet, if the individual form of Big can carry on tomorrow against a complete different type of enemy, I could see a world where Big makes life really hard for Liquid. But then again, I don't want to draw too many conclusions from that game.
I've just worked it out. I need the detectives of the internet to go back on VODs or pictures of tournaments from when Next was playing in Mouse Sports in 2015 when he was a god. I'm pretty sure he was wearing the same hat. Now, let me speculate further. That hat, or hats in general, have been banned because of we had the issues with, like, there were several tournaments where they thought that more sound could get in because there was beanies and hats that were making a bit of a gap between, right? So then
We have
at that
ears
point,
now that literally block everything out.
yeah, but, well, they were still using ears at the same time. It was like, there was some event, I think it was a Brazilian team who were criticized for it. I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to speculate on that, but the point is, hats have been banned in the mainstream, like the ESL tournaments and the DreamHack tournaments, for example, under the headsets. So here's what I theorize. Nex, with the hat, can play at this level, but without the hat, he can't.
He didn't have his hat on yesterday as well.
But he didn't drop 29 kills in a 17
That's the point
game.
I'm making, right? Yesterday he didn't show
play
up
good
like
yesterday?
this. He didn't play bad,
No,
but he wasn't showing up like this, right? It was Tabson and Smooya again in there.
There it is.
So he didn't wear the hat yesterday. I
That's
thought you were really just like memeing the hell out of this. But this could be a legit factor
because
now.
back in 2015, you were allowed to wear hats.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure for the early stage of 2016, you're also allowed to wear hats.
Yeah, I guess whenever that thing happened, the incident
Someone
you said about.
find it. I swear that logo, that little diamond logo thing on his hat, it looks so familiar. Unless I've been like dreaming about some weird stuff, which happens all the time.
I'm about to say, Chad.
We can't comment on that.
I feel like I've seen it before.
Illuminati.
Reddit detectives. I know you're all out there. Search it.
Well, we have our Group B finalised, as Chad will try and rack his brain a little bit further to confirm this information. HR, they go through, and they will end up going all the way of having this chill day, so they've been able to watch all of this in the evening, and they're going to be obviously facing up against NRG. Then you've got Big, we've just seen, demolishing Tyloo, and they're up against Liquid.
Yeah. Well, all things considered, I think it's fair to say 4 teams making it to playoff were the expected
best,
ones of some sort. Liquid, NRG, never a question, and I would have favored Hellraisers and Big for the 2 last spots.
Completely.
So in that sense, pretty logical result.
You know what I find the most interesting here, though, is not the fact that the 4 teams we expected to go through. It's, I guess, in the order that they went through, and that's mainly from Group B. It means we get the most competitive semi-final matchups.
Yep.
I think that Hellraisers and NRG are closer to each other, potentially skill-wise, and I think Big can push Liquid more than I think Hellraisers could have pushed Liquid.
In a tactical sense, right?
Yeah. I think we get the best 2 semi-finals possible, and then ideally the best grand final would be Liquid NRG. But at the same time, I think it could be anybody's at this point, because I know that Hellraisers and Big are probably going to be hungrier than the likes of NRG and Liquid, so the complacency factor comes in once again.
You know what, like, did we ever expect it to get to this stage where we see, like, we knew we'd found like Liquid and NRG going through, but the way this has all happened and the kind of storyline that's been created around it, we got to see VP King win in an epic matchup that ended up being quite an interesting one to go down with, and then we get this whole Big get to go up against the team that already took them down.
It's almost like we had an undercard of like a boxing
Yes,
match, right?
that's
like
exactly
you had the
it.
matchups that you wanted to see, and they all kind of happened in the way they were meant to. And then you had one rubbish fight, but then when you kick off and you get into the main card, she's gonna be beautiful.
Also, I think that the
we
fact
never
that
expected it.
Hellraisers and Big, they had both like very confirming and assertive way to qualify to
Yes.
the semifinals, and it makes the semifinals very exciting.
Yes.
If this Big go up against Liquid, sure, different kind of opposition than Tyloo, but hey, I can see 3 maps. I can see a world where craziness happens. Same for Hellraisers. They were very decisive qualifying to the semifinals, so looking forward for tomorrow.
Should be sick.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. We got good games, we got what we wanted, and tomorrow this is what it all comes down to.
Oh yeah.
2 best of 3s, and we get to see them in all the glorious action. And we start at a later time, which means we get to enjoy Malta a little bit more.
Explore a little bit.
That's it, yeah. It's always good doing it.
Yeah, I think Matt went to the.
Yeah, Matt, by the way, Matt's had the most chill, best
he went to
experience so far.
Sadicist is here, everybody.
Yeah, he's been here for days.
But we're saving him for tomorrow. It comes out, we unwrap him. But I think he went to the Blue Lagoon today. Not the Blue. Was it the Blue Lagoon?
I think it's a Blue
The
Lagoon.
grotto, the Blue Grotto.
Blue Grotto.
Yeah, because here, if you don't know much about Malta, it's obviously an island, so there's a lot of coast, and it's not like sandy beaches. Well, there's a couple of them, but it's more like cliffs, and off the cliffs you get those cool kind of in the clear water. It's beautiful. Everyone should come here.
Oh,
They should.
I'd definitely come back here for a holiday after this, to be fair. I could do this some more time. I'll take that. Didn't get to chill as much as you guys.
I'm seeing if I can chill so hard that the actual government of Malta will bring me back.
You don't even care about the events as much. It's like, come on, I'll do this. Like, I'm here, I'm promoting, I know what's going to happen. There we go. There's our playoffs. We have kind of discussed this in full anyway, but that's how it's going to work out. I guess we'll start with HR versus NRG and go on to Liquid Big towards the evening and all how things work out. I'm sure we'll get the scheduled graphic up there eventually.
I think it would start in that order, you would assume, because Big played the last game of the day. So,
that would make sense.
But here, the expectations, obviously we have the 3rd place decider on the Sunday as well to really give everybody their full day's worth of Counter-Strike. But it should be good. Like we just mentioned, both games are going to be the closest semi-finals I think we could have had in the whole tournament from that regard. So I think that preparation-wise, or hunger-wise, I'll say it again, I think Hellraisers and Big in their respective semi-finals are going to be hungrier.
Yeah.
I agree. Also, we haven't seen many 3-mapper at the moment. And I think this is going to be the day it happens.
Today was a day of 2 zeros
it
across
was
the
2
board.
zeros all the way. But now here, I see a lot of potential 3 maps. I would still favor Energy. I would still favor Liquid, sure.
Yes.
But 3 maps seems very likely.
Yeah, and I really want to see like what Hellraisers can do now against an NRG. I think that in like skill-wise, we're going to be in for some crazy explosive action. Let's see Woxic just go to town and see if the rest of HR can join in with it.
I think it's also going to be a big test to see the depth of Hellraisers with Hobbit. Because
Yes.
this is quite new. He's been there 20 days. They've had easy of some sort victories, right? But now they're about to be tested against NRG, who have probably a deeper map pool, more experience together, longer time together. So we're going to see the cracks. Are Hellraisers ready with Hobbit? Still quite fresh. You know, I think Energy is going to test them.
And as the games went on, right, we saw Hobbit look better. He started to show us stuff a bit more, and we spoke about it, right? We wanted him to be that third man within HR to kind of deliver the mad kills. First game was a little bit hit and miss, but then he came into his own. Remember, he said he just didn't feel confident playing against Gambit, right? It wasn't what he wanted. So he's now got a chance to shine against NRG and see if he can take down the Americans.
Well, I had some cake. I had the cake.
Oh, I didn't get it. God damn it.
The cake will be gone now. Well, there were still people in the restaurant eating, but I had some cake. It was pretty
Were there
good.
cake when we went for
There was, but Chad pointed out afterwards, and we were like, oh,
How
well,
did you
I
guys miss
wanted
the
it.
cake? The cake
I
was
don't
the
know.
first thing that
Okay,
I
wait a
saw.
second. I saw a lot of protein and a lot of rice, and me and Maynette were
You
very
should have
happy.
seen him. He was so excited. You know, he was naming everything he had in his plate. Like, this rice looks delicious. Oh, this meat. And I was just next to him. And I was like, keep it in your pen, dude. Stop it. Oh, the meat.
I'm a big dude. I like my food. I get hungry, man.
There we get a
There you
schedule.
go. Okay, so
4:30. Okay.
we'll be live, though, from
4.
4:15.
Oh, 4:15.
Quarter past 4, we'll be live.
I could sleep in until like 4 then.
No, Chad.
Considering it's in the hotel, you
Yeah,
maybe
just
you
come down
could.
the lift. I might wear my bathrobe tomorrow. Get the Intercontinental Hotel branding out there on point.
He really is shilling hard. I can see what Chad's game plan is with this.
I like free things.
So you've gone from being an Australian citizen with a British passport to now a German citizen and potentially
Resident.
Okay,
Resident.
German resident. Yeah. Making that clear. Yes, you're not there quite yet, but you could soon become maybe a Maltese citizen.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons for that.
I wasn't going to get into the reasons. I was just saying the country's
it's possible.
nice.
It
and
is nice.
stuff.
I could,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's just a place to leave my suitcase.
Yep. While you travel, and then when you come back, you still get beautiful weather to deal with.
Then maybe I could start surfing again.
Hey,
Again,
that'd be nice.
Vincent, you have surfed before?
Yeah,
It's
well,
Australia, they surf.
Yeah, I mean, I come from Switzerland. We have rivers, right? That's it. Surf is not part of my culture, right? We have
if I
puddles
stay-
of water. That's
if
what
I
we
stay in
have.
Germany, I can start snowboarding more. I don't know. Maybe I could. Neither is Counter-Strike.
Right, you make enough money, just have a place in both.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I couldn't snowboard here though. I could surf in the Rhine. I'd probably die,
Yeah,
but I
maybe.
could do it.
No, don't. I know you're fearless, Chad. I know you're not bothered. We've seen you jump out of a plane and all that, but yeah.
Everyone should do that, by the way.
I'd
Is there
be down for
skydive
that.
here? I'd
Ooh.
skydive here.
We should try and arrange that.
Yeah.
At
No,
this
we
point.
shouldn't.
at
You don't
this-
wanna jump out of a plane?
I'm
Why-
so comfortable on the ground.
No,
so
come
comfortable.
on.
You get in
the
the plane.
It'll
It's,
be exhilarating.
the plane's tiny. You get to the top, and the guy's like, "All right, mate, hang your legs out." And you hang your legs out, and then you jump. Well, you don't jump. He does it. You're just attached to another man.
All right, cool.
Good fun.
It sounds right.
Well, you know what we're going to talk about one more time? If people type ! giveaway in
Do
chat,
it.
you get to have a chance of winning yourself this glorious Supernova t-shirt. And it is a nice one at that. It's all going to be signed by all of the teams that are here. And
Are we
Chad,
going to sign it?
yeah,
I wish we do.
We can sign it as well.
All right,
we can sign it as well,
too.
sure. Why not? And I want to see Chad in one as well.
In one of the shirts.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen.
Come on, Chad.
Now, I'm going to re-wear this shirt again on Sunday. So if anyone is watching,
He's trying to save his stuff because he's going to Pro League afterwards.
I don't
so
want to do laundry.
I'm just biting the bullet.
Now I'm
mate.
going to wear a different shirt and catch everyone off guard.
Everyone's going to be like, Chad's wearing a set. Sneaky, sneaky.
They won't be able to keep up.
All right, let's close this down. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get out of here. Let's go and enjoy some just chill out time and then go and enjoy Malta tomorrow. It's been a pleasure, and we've got the semi-final games we want. Let's see what happens throughout the rest of it. Remember, guys, you need to join us from tomorrow at 4:15 CET. Plenty of action to come. It's semi-final stages, 2 best-of-3s, and some great Counter-Strike action to come your way. I hope you guys have enjoyed it all today, and we will see you tomorrow.